I'm talking to people and no one knows what's going on because I'm muted. So let me run that back. Welcome to episode 60 of Fish and Grits. And I was asking you guys, are we just going to start calling this Fish and Grits Sports? Fish and Grits Live? What are we calling this? Well, yeah, Fish and Grits Live. I mean, the channel's Fish and Grits Sports. Just call it Fish and Grits. Fish and Grits, live. Regardless, today is Tuesday, July 6th. Was a pretty busy weekend. Most of us had a 3-day weekend. There was quite a few things that happened, but biggest is, we just celebrated our 225th 4th of July as a country. As you know, 1776. Oh, well, that's strange. Well, y'all didn't really say much, so they didn't miss much, guys. It was just Marco saying that he doesn't think we should discuss our name change on air, but we'll figure it out and call it something.
Live with Fish and Grits.
It won't be Fish and Grits Live, though.
No, certainly will not be Fish and Grits Live.
What the hell is that?
Fish and Grits Live. Everything on our shirts say Fish and Grits the podcast. Podcasts aren't live. What is this? But yeah, we just celebrated our 225th 4th of July. Lots and lots of fireworks here in Atlanta. Do y'all have any crazy stories from the weekend? From, whether it was just staying at home, things you heard about, things you saw on Instagram surrounding the 4th of July?
I'm progressively getting more and more perturbed by fireworks just because I have a dog and he just goes absolutely batshit crazy every time fireworks go off, and it's just like
yeah. I mean, he's already pretty vocal when it comes to sounds outside and people coming in the door, for sure.
Yeah, he just gets so scared, and then it just goes because it was 3 days. I guess people felt like there were 3 days of the 4th of July this year. Because it was Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, chock full of explosions.
Man,
so.
I'm telling you, it was so many fireworks. It was insane. So many fireworks. Mike, what'd y'all do over at your place?
Nothing much. So, my weekend consisted of me paying the most I've ever paid for a haircut.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
And And then, other than that, it was just chilling. But I did hear that crazy story about the hockey player who lost his life in a firework accident.
Whoa,
What?
I didn't.
Yeah,
In a firework accident?
yeah. He died due to head trauma due to a firework accident, and I was just like, ooh,
An NHL player?
24 years old.
Holy moly.
Wow, I completely missed that. I wonder if it was the concussion blast. I wonder if it like hit him and something.
Was this a Canadian? A goalie?
He might have been a goalie. I forget what.
Raymond. No, not
After
him.
being hit by fireworks.
Well, this guy died too, but I don't know why it says him. His name is Matisse Kavlidniks.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
Kavlidniks.
foreign name. I couldn't. Yeah, I didn't know which one it was. Like, didn't know whether he was Russian or what. But yeah, I was just like, wow. And another reason why I don't really mess with fireworks.
It says he was in a hot tub and tried to get clear with several other people. LT Jason Muir said what does that mean? Tried to get clear. He died of chest trauma from an errant fireworks mortar blast and not a fall, as authorities previously thought. So his heart probably stopped.
What? I mean, did he get hit with a mortar, then it blew up when it hit him?
Yeah, direct hit, or whether it says there was some minor injury to his exterior, which would lead us to believe that some portion of the firework made contact with him, but we're not really sure if it was a direct hit or whether the percussion.
So it's a concussive blast.
Yeah.
Wow, what size fireworks were these people setting off? One.
Well, it says what did it say? Aren't mortar blasts pretty big usually?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are called mortars, though. It just depends on
Yeah,
the size.
yeah, they're different. They're different levels.
Yeah, you got the
Because
little.
I doubt they were using like military mortars. Where it's like, dude.
Thump. Hang it, bang it.
We know what this one does. Yeah, this one will blow your legs clean off.
I don't. That's. So one, yeah, what size were they using? But two, like, what happened? Was someone like playing a joke and they were targeting them, or did it like fall? Like,
It probably,
my man was like legit running for his life, diving into hot tubs, and it still got him.
Yeah, it probably was something where it was one of those. It fell and just was shooting out of control, and I mean that would be my guess because yeah.
I mean, I'm sure whoever was involved in it's not gonna want to like give a clear story until.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sorry, I committed the murder. That was me.
That was me.
My bad.
You're going to jail, bro. It's over.
Good Lord, like, I mean, like now that you bring that up, I've forgotten about all the crazy things I saw. Did you see the truck that was out on the beach that blew up? Or
You went muted like right before you finished that.
oh,
Cliffhanger.
It changed my headset or my microphone. Sorry guys for 1 second. What the heck happened? Well, if you can hear me, it's because my.
What?
We can't hear you anymore. Your computer just freaked out. Just like
Nope. You're muted or something.
There we go. Now we're back. We're now functional again. My microphone just went on protest there for a second. It was like, I'm good. We're gonna stop working there for a second. But can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're good. Everything's back. But yeah, I saw the truck. It was on a beach, and it blew up early. It was the truck carrying all the fireworks to go out for the celebration that night.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it just, I guess the sun, it maybe got too hot or something happened, and it set it off. So the whole truck just started going. And there were people like, no, I don't think so. I think the truck was just sitting there. And luckily, when it started to go, people were like, whoa. So like 2 p.m. just, an entire fireworks show just started going off.
That just sounds like some Final Destination crap right there. That just like, oh my God.
Did y'all see some people? I forget where it was, but someone pulled up to a car, like a drop top, and threw a firework in the car. So yeah, that's crazy. People are just retarded. And then also this weekend, that story of the one dude who was like dropping all types of M-bombs and went to his neighbor's door.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, my address is this. Come and see me." And then literally, like, the whole community,
everybody came to see him. Like, bro, you live in Philadelphia, right? That's where that was.
As the police carried him off.
New Jersey.
As the police carried him off, it's like, bro, you just ruined your whole entire life.
Well, he said that, and then like other neighbors started releasing footage of all their encounters with him.
Right.
And how he was saying, like, if you call the cops, it doesn't matter because I'm in good with all the cops.
Those are my guys.
Right. Those are my guys that we're now on the same team. And like, then the person who had made that call had released, like, because you get arrested, you can see people's arrest record. Like all the times like that he's been arrested for things, but then all the calls she's made in which nobody came.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy, one, is now ruined. Idiot. Yeah. And he gets exactly what he deserves. But also that police department is going to come under some scrutiny here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, it's a good old boy network even up there. But it's just so hilarious that he shout out his address. Like, of all the things to shout.
It's like the people that
people are gonna come?
Oh, you want to throw hands? All right, this is where I live. Let me drop a pin. And then the other person shows up and they don't come out their house. They're like, I was just kidding.
And it's like 4th of July weekend. So even if people were working, they're not doing anything.
Nah. It was funny though, because when it was the dude posted a video, it was like, bruh, I'm here, and don't think that there aren't more people that are going to show up. And he was like, oh, no, you got to see the context. I said that. No, you said what you said. Then you see him getting hauled off by the police, and the whole community's there like, ah.
The best part was him getting beat with the Black Lives Matter flag.
Right. Because all those policemen were getting collateral junk.
They were catching strays.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, it doesn't sound like they're strays. It just kind of sounds like that, it was a cluster bomb, and they were getting whoever they wanted. All of you were in one area? Bet.
All right.
Because, the police are beloved around the country right now. And you're coming out and saving a racist white supremacist guy?
Right. Proud.
You're right. You came real quick. But so I know, a lot of times you call your friends that you're around with, all the time. They're like, you're my family. You guys are my family. We're the Fish and Grits family. The people who listen, they're part of the family. And you know what? Family is undefeated. And that's all you need in life is family. And that's what can defeat physics and science and logic and reason and machine guns and armies, because when you have family, you've got everything. Just ask Vin Diesel. And family will make you $500 million in the box office in 11 days.
Bruh.
11 days. Fast and Furious 9 made $500 million. And it's the first time since COVID struck that a box office movie or a movie in the box office has done that. Because, as you know, America's opening back up, and people are excited to get out and go see Vin Diesel.
Right. So isn't that low though for typical like giant movies?
I don't
think that's low.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's low, but like compared to like Endgame, which did like $1 billion in the first weekend.
Didn't Black Panther do like $1 billion?
Yeah,
but put it in context. This is the 9th iteration of a movie.
Yeah.
The 9th time they've released a movie. And people are like, I can't wait!
With all those ridiculous previews, like just defying physics and logic, and like, let's go see it. We got to go see this first week.
It's just something. I think it was just something. people like, I got to get out of the house to see something. Like, bro, I haven't been to the movies in forever. I got to see something.
Legit.
And it's like the fact, like that one in the preview where he hits that like a stone cinder block or whatever, and then it like hooks on the bottom of his car perfectly, and he swings across the canyon. Like, bro, for real.
Like, because if that hooked anything other than the frame of your car, you're going, ah!
Bro, if it hooked like your catalytic converter or your exhaust pipe, then it just breaks off, and then your car is just well, he dead.
Well, I think even in the movie, like they break the is it third wall or fourth wall when
Fourth wall.
Tyrese was like, "Oh, it seems like no one can ever die in this movie." It's like, how come no matter what we do, no one ever dies? Like
what's his face? The guy that the Asian guy. He's probably like, "What do you mean no one dies? I'm dead. They killed me.
They killed me and then brought me back somehow."
Right.
Oh man.
There was actually two scenes from some of the previous ones. You know, I made it past Tokyo Drift, even though Nicole swears up and down that's not the worst Fast and Furious movie on the planet. But there were two scenes that stick out to me particularly that like just killed my desire to see any more of those movies. One was the one where in the Middle East, and he drove that car out of the side of one building.
Oh God!
And then launched like several hundred feet and drove into another building and landed perfectly. It was like, okay.
I think that was Fate of the 8.
Was that 5?
I don't think it was 5. No, 5 was in Brazil.
See, I don't remember. They all just blend together now.
Yeah.
But the second
I remember
one,
that scene.
sorry.
I definitely remember.
It's like such a ridiculous scene. You're like, huh?
What? No, in Fast 5, they did something similar. They were driving through the favelas in Brazil.
I remember that.
And they like hit a ramp and then like drove into another building and like landed and was still going. And it's like, bro, you're driving through houses.
Bro, even like one, houses, but two, as if the favelas aren't held together by tin and string in some places.
That might have been 7 that you're talking with that building thing. That might have been 7.
Yeah, like Ryan said, they all run together.
But the other one was it. I mean, this might even be the same movie. Honestly, it was such a ridiculous thing. But when they're on the highways, like Vin Diesel's coming from one direction of the bridge, like because they're on a bridge, like a separated bridge. It's got 2 sides of 4-lane traffic or something like that. And what's her name? Michelle Rodriguez like got in trouble or something, and he like sees it, and he's like, intentionally crash my car into the median and launch through the windshield and catch her midair and then land on the other side of the highway on my back, and we're okay. And I was like, one, you would turn into like string cheese from that. 2, if you did somehow go through your windshield unscathed, there's no way you're going to be able to time that. You're not like a squirrel where you're like doing mid-flight calculations. You're like, I got to go this way. And 3, like you land on asphalt while going like 70 miles per hour and just kind of go like, ugh.
There's no kinetic energy in this movie. It's just
bruh.
They on their own physics laws.
What was it? I think it was a scene in Fast 5 that tripped me out where they were driving with the safe. They're dragging that huge safe and it like using it as a battering ram and just taking out cars with the safe. And I'm just like, how does this, like, y'all legitimately like ran into a bank with a safe and then like wiped out half the city. Then you just all of a sudden like use this safe to knock out an entire fleet of cars and police cars. Like, bruh, what is going on?
Here's the part that kills me before we get off this topic. And, and if y'all got something else to say, feel free to jump in. But like, if you're talking about technology these days, and you're talking about all the advancements in transportation alone these days, like the car, as far as like a getaway vehicle or like being elite level tech and all that type of stuff, is like at the bottom of the things that you could use to do all these things that they're doing. But they're like, you know what? Family and 4 wheels. And we got this, baby. And it's like, you're literally beating supervillains with your ability to drive cars well.
I mean, at this point, I don't know if this is an indictment on the viewing audience, but they don't even care anymore. Like they just
Bruh.
don't care. John Cena's his brother. Like, look out of here.
Oh man.
Bruh, like in like one of them, I can't remember if it was 7 or 8. I think it was 8. They stopped like a nuke with a car. Like they outdrove a nuke. Like I'm like, dude, these things fly so much faster than cars could even possibly fathom driving. And y'all managed to stop a like nuclear holocaust by driving in like ice and water and stuff
Man.
like
They
that.
went to
Like,
space. They're in space.
Right.
And
That was the part I was going to say. This one they're in space. Ludacris and Tyrese are in space in like 1966 Soviet Russia submariner gear. Like,
oh,
what
man.
are you wearing?
like
Where did
whatever-
you get that from?
remember jumping the shark? It's like they need to come up with a new terminology just for this movie because
Honestly,
they're far beyond jumping the shark. Like
You know, it reminds me of something that you'd see on like an episode of like Aqua Teen Hunger Force back in the day.
oh god,
Don't make no sense, but yeah.
Like when I was just remembering the other day when like the vending machine fell on him and then the scorpions came and they were stinging him and he became like the king of the scorpions.
Oh,
I was on C-Lab.
I forgot about that. I've seen clips of that. I didn't see that episode, but I've seen the clips.
Yeah.
Like this movie just makes my brain hurt. And the fact that people are so excited to go see it, because like people are posting in the theater, like I've been waiting so long for this. I'm like, were you really?
That's
For
gotta-
Fast 9? Not even like Fast.
I don't even know
4.
who you a fan of at this point. Does Vin Diesel really have that many like diehard fans? 'Cause
Well-
I remember when the one dude was alive, then I could see him like, okay, yeah, he's the
Paul Walker.
charismatic leader. Yeah, Paul
Oh, yeah.
Walker. He's
I think
good-looking
that's
guy.
what propelled it this far. Actually, them losing him like made it a cult,
Yeah.
like the Fast cult. 'Cause,
But-
Which
like,
one did they CGI him into? Was
That
it
was like
6?
6 or 7.
7, I want to say. They kept him like he was in like early because they had started filming and then they just kind of CGI'd his brothers. They
If
used
you're-
his brothers to.
So yeah, the
Fast
building
7.
thing you're talking about had to be 7 because that's the last one I saw, and I remember
Yeah.
that when they drove through the buildings and
Mhm.
landed in the other building. I remember.
God,
Bruh. I'll say this though. Like it's so bad that they even had spinoffs where because The Rock got into it with Vin Diesel, they gave them their own spinoff, him and Jason Statham.
Yeah,
And
Hobbs.
it's just like, and it's still putting
And
up huge.
those
box
aren't even
office
add to
numbers.
the numbers. So there's really like 11 of these things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something in Hobbs. What was it?
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
Hobbs and Shaw.
yeah. I mean, that made huge box office numbers too. Because I mean, that's The Rock though. Like,
Yeah, The Rock
you
always.
drop him in anything nowadays, and he's gonna get you at least 500 million in the first week, just because people are like, ooh. Like I'm sure. What's that new one that he's in? The Jungle Quest or Jungle Cruise?
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that sounds so goofy. I don't even.
But I'm
know
gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I
but
don't even know what the premise of that is. A jungle on a cruise.
nah. I don't know the premise, but like, I mean, think about it. Rampage was bad. It was so bad.
It was. That was one that I did get, and I was like,
and it
I
was
don't even
just,
know. That was based off the video game, right? Like, how did they turn that into a movie?
not well.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
Obviously,
Loosely.
They're like, how can we do this? Giant
Sky,
white gorilla in the middle of the city and other monsters and The Rock. That's how we'll do it.
Skyscraper was bad and it did numbers.
Yeah.
Andreas was pretty bad.
There's always something about a skyscraper, the jungle.
I never
Like
saw
The Rock.
Skyscraper because I saw him jumping from that crane, and I was like looking at that distance. I was like, he would have to be running like 70 miles per hour to make that jump.
Yeah. And he had no legs in Skyscraper. He had like an artificial leg in
That's right.
Skyscraper.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And
Yeah.
It hooked
That's why
on to
you can
something,
make
right?
the jump.
Yeah. But no, here's the thing though. Like you talk about a jungle. Now, what's the movie? Jumanji. The Jumanjis actually were good movies.
It's because
I'll
they
get-
it's the third one, right?
There was
Yeah.
second and third. Yeah, the second
So I
and
mean,
third.
you're talking about 3 compared to like 11.
Yeah, but some of the originals he did were pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
He's in the jungle a lot in his movies. Like,
He
they
is
always put him
lately.
in the jungle.
Some
Was that
either
when he was
jungle
fighting?
or end of days type of
He
movie.
was fighting little jungle men in one movie, like little jungle uh, dwarfs, or you don't remember that one?
Oh, the rundown.
It was like the
Where he
rundown.
The
punches that
rundown.
porch.
Yeah. Like, or he dives from one building into another and shoulder blocks a stone's like pillar, like column, and knock the whole building down. Like, God.
Still to this day, though, let's get off this real quick. But his best role ever was in Get Shorty.
Oh, Be Cool.
Be Cool, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Be Cool.
The guy who wrote
Elliot.
Get Shorty, Be Cool, yeah,
Yeah, Elliot.
yeah.
His best role is still The Rock. Let's be real.
Oh, the wrestler, The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's just who he is. But I guess that is a role.
Right.
Anyway, last movie thing. I watched The Tomorrow War last night. Have y'all guys seen that?
No, not yet.
All right, I won't say too much about it. It's entertaining. Like, it's kind of what you expect from Chris Pratt in this type of doomsday movie with aliens. I was entertained. There was several times during the movie that Nicole and I were like, this just doesn't make sense. Why are they doing this? You know, those type of movies. But at the end of the day, or at the end of the movie, you're like, meh, it's a good use of 2 hours.
If y'all are into like stuff like that, check out Screen Rant on YouTube. It's like a dude who does like pitch meetings for all these new movies, and he always goes through like all the stuff that doesn't make sense in any of these movies. He's like,
Well, here's the thing, and as far as, you know, speaking of like making sense, I think I'll just say this real quick. Fast and the Furious is at a point where we're beyond making sense. Let's just find the most outlandish thing we could ever think of and put it in a movie. Somebody will watch it.
we're making these sense. Not these sense. We're making these sense.
Quite literally.
We're gonna drive up Mount Everest in this movie.
You know, Micah, it like you laugh, but you know that could happen.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Fast 10. You already got this. They're listening in right now. They take all ideas. Fast 10. Attack on Everest. It's
Hey,
like,
Is Everest really the top of the world? And you see like then it like cuts to a scene of Vin Diesel like going airborne off the tip.
Look, I'm calling intellectual property on that idea. So if y'all take it, I want my cut.
You know what? We'll send it to them, and with this little clip right here, and like, if y'all make that and that does well, we each get 5% of the box office, and
Yeah,
So that'll be our deal.
I'll divide 5. Like shit. That's so
nah.
make us rich.
Bruh, look, yeah, just give me royalties. Box office and whatever you get from home video sales and rentals. Oh yeah, let me get a percentage. I'll take 3%.
oh, the best. And when he goes off the top of the mountain, he has to be screaming, "Family!"
Letty
Family
somehow
is
like
everything.
Letty's like falling out of a helicopter. He drives off and then like catches her and then like pulls her in the car while he's driving.
Oh man.
We can't let family go.
Speaking of letting go, I hear some squeaks and some. Y'all hear that?
Hey, but so before we get into this, make sure that the tags are correct.
Yeah.
Or make sure the titles are all correct.
I'm already there, buddy. I'm waiting.
But all right, cool, man. So it is time for the layup, aka the finger roll, aka jelly time, aka points in the paint.
Burn! Sorry, I had pasta delivery at that time.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get a timestamp real quick. We are at 31. Oh, it's 32 right on. Cool. 32 right on. All right. So we got some cool stories. You know that the finals are definitely going on too, but we always like to touch on the tertiary subjects before we get into the meat. Um, so what do we have to talk about this week? Rachel Nichols, our favorite. I really did. I like Rachel Nichols. Like I've always, from when she came on, I always thought she was attractive. I always thought she was worked hard and was always there. It sort of made me mad when she like did when Kobe died and she was bringing up. There was like a whole bunch of things she did that were a little bit off color. Like when she brought up, I can't think of the examples right now.
It's the Isaiah. No, was it Isaiah? It was Isaiah Thomas. Damn. Now I just blanked on it too.
There's like a meme going around with all like 5 things that she's done that were very off color. One of them.
I'll pull it up here in a second.
Okay, so just getting into it. Rachel Nichols generated some controversy this week when she was caught on a secret video discussing with an ESPN colleague how she just received notice that she would no longer be hosting the finals. They offered her, I guess, Doris's job instead on ABC, in that instead Maria Taylor would get the gig. And in their conversation, they sort of insinuated that this was due to the fulfillment of a history of a lack of diversity within their organization. Her and her colleagues sort of joked around a bit, and he said something like, between Me Too and Black Lives Matter, he's like exhausted, and they both sort of laughed at that. And then she also stated that she would not be taking the job of sideline reporter that was offered. So this video hit the internet. It went viral, and the Twitter world was very upset with her. Things like what me and Ryan were just talking about came out, where it sort of listed all the missteps she sort of had in her career. Also, the go along, get along gang, which I like to call, that's Kwame Brown coined that term. Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson. They instantly started posting their 2 cents. Matt Barnes sort of played the middle of the road, and he bigged up Maria Taylor, saying, she's the next up, and that, Rachel, blah, 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 she didn't mean anything wrong by it. But Steven Jackson, initially, he came out like sort of blasting Rachel Nichols, but then like 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, he posted another video where he was like, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I don't blame her because, a lot of times we always try to blame white people for, getting jobs that we can't get and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, and he was pretty much, he called Maria Taylor's getting this job a charity job, which I thought was a little bit insensitive of him. But go along, get along. But Rachel has since issued an apology on her show, The Jump. And it was also formally announced that she will not partake in the finals on any level. Does this alter the way y'all look at Rachel at all? Going forward, was her apology sincere enough, or what do y'all just think about this whole incident?
You filling in some of those timelines, because I follow Steven Jackson. I don't follow Matt Barnes. And that, now I understand why he posted that video, because I was like, where'd this come from?
Right.
Like I'd watched that before I heard about the Rachel Nichols thing, so I didn't put them together. Kinda, but no. Like, I have some opinions about some of the things she said. First, let me start that by saying that Maria Taylor got the job because she's very talented. That's the reason she got the job. So that's not one of my differing opinions. Some of the other things, it's kind of like, kind of me too. Like, I agree with some of the things that you're saying. None of the racial things, obviously, but I'll just say that no. Like, I haven't fully come to an opinion on this, and some of the things that she spoke on, my opinions are still up in the air. Excuse me. So I don't want to say too much because I'm still trying to understand it as well. I'll say that. So kinda, a little bit.
Sort of, kind of. What about you, Micah?
I mean, it's altered a little bit. I don't really, I haven't really kept up with a lot of what's going on, of course. But of course, I know Matt Barnes is definitely going to play kind of the both sides, kind of play both sides of the fence. He's not trying to get too deep in it because he does work with ESPN from time to time, and I think Steven Jackson does too. So they had
in his first video, he actually said "fuck ESPN."
Yeah.
So he doesn't.
But he probably got that call from up top and was like, "Yeah, if you want to work for us again, you better issue an apology." And oh man,
I don't think Steven Jackson. I think he's done with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
but I mean, even still, like if he does like anything with Fox or one of those networks, it's still not a good look. Whether you saying, so it's one of those things. He had to kind of not necessarily retract, but apologize and soften. Control. This damage control for that situation, because he still does occasionally do analysis work for a lot of these big players, and that the last thing they want is someone who to say something like that against one of the major networks. But as far as but it does, like I've never really had that strong of an opinion on Rachel Nichols. I've never been a huge fan or disliked her, but the more like it's just kind of like bruh, just sometimes you just gotta just know when to shut up. Like sometimes it's not always the right thing to do to speak your mind. Because especially in today's day and age where camera phones and microphones are everywhere, it's often you see a lot of people who basically put themselves in a corner just because they felt the need to speak their mind, and it gets you in more trouble than not just keeping it to yourself.
Real quick, Marco, I just want to ask a question before you jump in.
Okay.
Do y'all think speaking ill of the big 4-letter network is as damning as it used to be in the sports world? Because I feel like, and this could just be unsupported, and this could be a what's the word I'm looking for here, when you have an opinion about something that not based wholly in fact but on opinion. Anyway, it's one of those. Like with Pat McAfee and all these other athletes breaking off and becoming their own brand nowadays, a lot of those guys are starting to speak ill of ESPN. So I don't think, Steven Jackson saying that about ESPN is as damning as it used to be, because a lot of people are starting to realize how crooked and how bad ESPN really is, and a lot of those things that fans said about them just on, their support of teams or their backing of things like that, and just the way they treat athletes is not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as you don't work for them. Matt still works for them. Like, you still see Matt come on the jump sometimes. That's why he's not going to say anything like that. But I think Steven Jackson, on the other hand, is paid by Showtime. And I think he's paid, maybe he works with Fox Sports sometimes, but he has no affiliation with the Disney Corporation. But I mean, that's like to answer your question, like as long as you don't have an affiliation with the Disney Corporation, you can say whatever you want about the 4-letter.
Well, yeah, obviously, speaking ill of your employer is never a good idea,
right?
No matter what company it is.
Right. But I do also think, even though I get what you're saying, but I do feel like there's kind of a stigma that attached with it, like you defiant, and like it's not a good thing if you necessarily speak. Now, like I said, if you're able to build your own platform to the size, the level that Pat McAfee is, then it doesn't matter.
And timeout, and that one day we will be.
Yeah. But didn't won't necessarily matter. But if you still rely on one of those major corporations to pay you, then it's still not a good look, because it's like, all right, so what if we do something that pisses you off? Will you do the same to us? And so I think that's just my opinion on it. It's just like, I get it, because a lot of people have had a lot of problems with that network, but I think at a certain point, a lot of those corporations think similar. And even though they're rivals, I think they all react like, all right, well, if you do one like that, then you might do us like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
to Micah's point, I think that it's not just directly getting paid by Disney, because we got to understand that the NBA more or less is like owned by Disney. So if you make money off talking about the NBA, then they don't want you shitting on any of their products. You know what I mean? So I'm sure they, like Micah said, they did probably call Steven Jackson, and that's why he immediately went up and put up another video where he sort of, did some damage control and
backtracked a little bit.
Yeah, took the venom out of his voice a little bit.
Well, I mean, look at RB the Breakthrough. He our Randy Booker or RB the Breakthrough. He was one of the biggest YouTube channels that talked about NBA videos, and the NBA tried to censor his videos because he spoke ill of a lot of NBA players, and
not even ill.
Is that the guy you keep critical? Marco?
Yeah, he was just very
he was critical.
Wasn't unbiased,
Yeah,
or he was unbiased is what I meant to say. He was unbiased.
Like he was critical of things on the NBA, and they didn't like that. They felt that he was painting them in a negative light, and they legitimately flexed all of their muscle to pretty much try to get his YouTube shut down. Like
I don't
Shadow
even see his videos anymore. I really don't even see his
well,
videos.
he films on his personal channel now, Randy Booker. So
okay, so I need to go follow another page.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so real quick, just what we were talking about. So the things that they sort of dinged her in the past for. So she brought up D Rose's rape allegations the night after he had 50. She asked Dame if he felt bad about beating the Lakers on Kobe night, which, I mean, that's not that bad. That's just sort of stupid. Like, why would you ask that? It's not racist though. Then she said LeBron should win the MVP because of Kobe's death.
Well,
again,
a lot of the things that they're accusing her of isn't racism, but it's dimming someone else's star. Win.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
take him down a notch.
Okay, yeah. And then the whole Maria Taylor thing, yeah. My opinion on this all is that I have two sort of takes on it. It's like when Steven Jackson was sort of like, this is a charity thing for Maria Taylor, at the end of the day, it's like you can't be on both sides of the fence. Like either you are for the black, like the equality kind of thing, or you're not. At the end of the day, when his point is that, okay, yeah, white people have been taking jobs from black people all these years, so now he sees why she's mad. But at the same time, it's like, isn't this what y'all want? Like, even if they're just giving her the job because she's black, it's still an opportunity for her. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like you can't like, I'm saying you can't be on both sides of the fence. Like she got this because of the opportunity. Yeah, she's talented, but at the same time, maybe this wouldn't be there if it weren't for this affirmative action kind of thing. So it's like, I understand, like, not saying that it's right or wrong, but at the same time, you can't be like frustrated with that if you've been on this whole kick about, oh, black rights, this and that, so at the end of the day, you can't sit here when something doesn't go right for you and start being like, oh, well, I disagree with that because of that. And then secondly, I'd say that it's about time they mix it up. Like we said, like we talked about in the last episode, ESPN's analysis sucks. So it's like no one watches that shit anyway. It's like
I don't go to them for anything.
Right. Maybe putting Maria Taylor on there will mix it up. Like Rachel Nichols, like you've had a lot of years doing the finals and no one ever takes note of anything you do. So like you're not doing that great a job. Let's be real. So
like we talked about the other day, said when the games were on ESPN, game's over. Click.
Turn off. Right. Halftime. Put something else on.
TNT. All right, yeah, I'm gonna stay and listen, but ESPN. Nah.
Right. I don't care I don't care who's anchoring it, as long as you're not putting people like Kendrick Perkins and Paul Pierce.
Oh my. Halftime.
Right.
It's halftime. Let me see what movies are on right now.
Right. No one gives a damn if it's Rachel Nichols or Maria Taylor. We're worried about the NBA players y'all are picking. Jalen Rose, Paul Pierce, and
man.
Jalen and Jacoby is one of the most annoying shows I could ever watch.
Oh my god, yeah, it really is.
Like, bruh, like it's like the least personable of and least entertaining of NBA players. You found them and assembled a crew of the least entertaining. It was Like, bro, like I mean, even like NFL, Marcus Spears, was it Roman? It's like you get like, bro, where are your personalities? Like, y'all don't have like a Michael Irvin no more. Y'all-
They lost
Wait,
them all the
he's on the
people.
NFL Network,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah, he's NFL.
yeah, Keyshawn. Well, you got Keyshawn, but Keyshawn isn't. He's not even that much of a personality.
Not anymore.
Yeah, like you could get like T.O. like T.O. gonna say something interesting.
Right. But I mean, a lot of these dudes don't want to have to answer to somebody, because it's just like you're seeing what happens here. It's like you really can't have your own opinions when you work for a network like ESPN. You pretty much have to toe the line. And I mean, they even said like they were bigging her up. It's like, oh yeah, when she started the show, she hired an all black cast. Like, who the hell was she supposed to hire?
Yeah.
Who's she gonna hire? Only like what, legs? Tim Legler?
The 3.
Go get Christian Leitner. Who the hell the fuck is she supposed to hire?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like white analysts that are worth a damn. It's like,
nah, I did think it was funny because I didn't realize that she was as tall as she was.
She's like 6 feet tall. Yeah,
she's 6'2".
Rachel Nichols is 6 feet tall.
No,
Maria Taylor she's 6'2".
Oh,
and so I was like, she was on there with Jalen and Jay Williams, and I'm like, she's the second tallest on set.
I think she's a former volleyball player.
Basketball. She played some basketball, I believe.
Jay Williams
she had
another guy who sucks.
Yeah, and I think she did play volleyball.
Yeah, I think volleyball was her big thing though.
Jay Williams is terrible.
Oh, Mr. I got hacked.
I got hacked.
First Celtics, first black Celtics coach, and it was like,
I got hacked.
No,
I got hacked.
No,
This is an outrage.
You didn't do your research.
That one tweet where that guy came out and claimed it. Did you see that?
No.
He's like, yes, it was me that hacked him. I spent the last 3 years trying to figure out Jason Williams' password, and on this day I did it just so I could post a tweet about this with minor errors in it, with misinformation.
Too funny. But yeah, ESPN, like that's pretty much my conclusion to this is like we shouldn't be so worried about the anchor. We should be worried about the analysis. Like no one cares if it's Maria, if it's Rachel. No one gives a damn. It could be Pam Anderson. No one gives a damn who the hell's doing the analysis.
Just anybody.
Right. So moving on from her, real quick about Luka. Luka Doncic has been out here leading his Slovenian national team to heights that they have never reached before. This weekend, they faced off against Sabonis's Lithuanian team, where he dropped 31, 11, and 8 en route to winning and clinching his country's first ever Olympic bid. So I want to ask y'all, do you think that the Slovenian team stands a chance against the USA squad that already has received commitments from KD, Dame Lillard, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, just to name a few?
No.
Nope. Nobody's competing with us.
No. Like this for the first year, this is like the first year since like 92 that some of the best decided, we're gonna play in the Olympics this year.
96 was that too.
Yeah.
96, 08.
It's been a while. Well, it's been I forget about 08 where Melo, Bron, and Kobe and all of them played.
Reunite to reclaim our title.
But this is what happens. We'll win a year, win 1 year, win the next Olympics, and then everybody will drop off. Then we'll get embarrassed, and all of a sudden, let's play in this Olympics this time. So
I wonder if it has anything to do with Jokic winning the MVP.
With him in terms of who?
Having a one of these slow European players, these clunky European players that aren't as good as us, come over into the league and win the MVP of it. I wonder if there's some talk. No, I wonder if there's some chatter from some of these, these European players. Luka's come over here running his mouth like this. It's real easy to score here. All this type of stuff. Like there's been some chatter in these last couple of years from European players, and they're making some waves in the NBA. So I wonder if that has anything to do with this. Like, a lot of our better athletes going, you know what? We'll show y'all what's up. Like,
Well,
Right.
I think that does kind of help add some fuel to the fire. But I do think like the last Olympics, well, we finished like fourth place in the
Yeah, we
in the
didn't even
last
medal.
Olympics.
Yeah.
So it was an embarrassment. Like you
It wasn't the
legitimately.
Olympics. It was the
yeah, it was the
FIBA.
FIBA World Cup.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So, but I
yeah.
said we took gold last Olympics.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but like that World Cup, we had such a bad showing, and it's like, yo, we legitimately have like the greatest athletes in the world, and we didn't even medal. So yeah, maybe it's time we take this seriously for a change.
Yeah, I agree with Micah more so than like that they're trying to like right some European wrong. I think it's more like this is redeemed team too. Like this is another redeemed team. Like
But we
because
took
like,
gold last Olympics. That's the.
but I'm saying like I think that how bad we did in that FIBA tournament
I
was
guess.
was extremely embarrassing. It was.
We didn't even have like any of our good athletes in there, did we?
We had one or two.
The
It
best
was
we had on the team was, I think Chris Middleton was there.
Yeah, I remember Middleton being there.
But other than
It-
that, it was like they were giving what's his face a whole bunch. Tatum was there, but I think he got hurt. He like twisted his ankle. I think
what's his name was too, wasn't he? Kimba.
Kemba. Oh yeah, but who was Kemba?
But it was a bunch of like second and third options on.
Derek White was there.
Elite.
Freaking
We didn't even
Joe
get fourth
Harris.
place. It was Spain, Argentina, France, then Australia.
Fifth
Golly.
place, yeah.
Ricky
Joe Harris
Rubio was the
there getting
MVP.
starter minutes. Who was?
Ricky
Ricky
Rubio.
Ricky Rubio. Oh my God.
Where's-
Holy
When Ricky Rubio wins the MVP and we finish like fifth place, yeah, that is an embarrassment. And
Right.
we need people to show up for
If that's
it.
not motivation, I don't know what is. But
Ricky
so-
Rubio can't even start in the NBA.
All right, here we
right.
go. We are. It was Derek White, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Harris, Marcus Spears, Harrison Barnes. I remember that.
Oh,
Jaylen Brown before he really stepped it up.
turned up.
Jason Tatum, as you mentioned, got hurt. Mason Plumlee, Miles Turner, Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton, and Kemba Walker.
Oh my God, that's a scrub team.
That's like
Donovan,
a team that may win like 45 games in the NBA.
Donovan Mitchell's best player on that team at
Well,
this
I would
point, besides
no,
Tatum.
I would say Tatum's the best all around.
Besides Tatum, yeah.
You're like, yeah, that team would be like a 2 or 3 seed in the East.
Right.
in the East, and not even like you might not even make championship on that one.
I know, right? It's like that's almost like the Bucks team. Just put some other pieces instead.
Well,
of
I don't know.
Giannis.
If you put Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum, but I have to think of Jaylen Brown in that perspective. He wasn't the bucket that he is now.
Yeah, he wasn't the same player.
He was a defensive player back then.
I mean, Tatum wasn't as good as he is now either. I mean, Tatum didn't even drop he didn't even have like a 30-point game until his third season in the league. It's like,
Yeah.
but moving on with that. So in other Olympic news, there was also some controversy this week from Jalen Rose, where they announced that Kevin Love is going to be making the team, and Jalen deemed that they only put him on there because he's the token white player. Whether you agree with this or not, does Kevin Love really deserve a spot on this Olympic team?
No. I mean, he's well past his prime. We could have found somebody else that there. If you absolutely needed a white guy to play on that team, you could have put like Joe Harris.
I'm
that
taking
Kayvon.
team,
Harris.
Yeah,
Kayvon.
yeah.
Yeah, Kayvon.
But I mean, my thing is, Kevin Love he's way past his prime. He's hurt all the time. Yeah, I think maybe it was just something like maybe he begged somebody. It was like, please, I need a gold medal. I need something to finish this
But
off.
he was on that team that already got a gold medal.
Oh, well, maybe he just said, I just want to be a part of it. Just let me touch the ball one time in the Olympic stage. One more, give me some glory.
Maybe Gordon was hurt.
Gordon Hayward.
He is
that's
hurt.
another one.
Yeah.
Um,
Because who are the other white players that we could take instead of Kevin Love?
I mean, Joe Harris.
Tyler Hero played himself out of that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, the white guys that are not European.
Yeah.
Kevin
Kevin
Herter.
Herter, Joe Harris.
DiVincenzo, who got hurt.
Yeah. He
Um,
wasn't even worth that, though.
He wasn't worth that.
God,
what's
right, somebody in the chat, like, if we're forgetting somebody.
Caruso.
He's done the weed, and as we know, they don't allow weed in the Olympics, guys.
As we clearly know.
God, who?
It's really just
wow. Are we that depleted as far as like white Americans?
We already had a Plumlee. We already had a Plumlee.
No more Plumlees.
No, please, no more Plumlees.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah, because both of Dallas's bigs are European. Like all of them are European.
Hey, guy over there on the Kings, he had like a couple 20 plus 30-point games this season.
Oh yeah, the power forward, the real lanky one.
No, he's a guard. He played in Virginia with DeAndre.
Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of this real lanky like center guy, and he was just like
so from what y'all are saying, you're talking about that skinny guy.
Yeah, he's
from what y'all are saying, I guess Kevin Love does belong on this team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Love's probably the best American white guy in the NBA right now.
No, I would still. I'd Herter. I'd put Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, Kevin didn't play this season that well. Yeah, so
and Kevin Love had that whole play where he was like, they
just
passed
fired the ball.
Yeah, that was one of the most ridiculous. Like that should have got him suspended. Like that was, I would have swung on him. If he were my teammate, I would have swung on him. Like, bro, what are you doing?
Do the Raptors have one?
God, yeah, I think that's it. Kevin Love and Kevin Herter are your two
that
best
are American.
guys.
Yeah, that are American.
Yeah, so Gordon is officially the best white player currently.
But you could have had Tyler Hero and just let him learn.
There's too many good guards though. It's like you got to be a forward or a center at this point. Like there's too many good guards to take someone as trash as Tyler Hero.
Could have had Brook Lopez.
JJ Redick.
He's a guard too. He's nowhere near good enough anymore.
He can still shoot.
Yeah, he can
put him in the game. You talk about buckets, give him buckets. Smart.
All right. I was wondering why didn't Sabonis just play for us? Like, because I was looking at that '96 team and Hakeem Olajuwon was on that team. It's like, how the hell is he playing on the American team?
You can choose that. It's the same way. Same way if like if athletes will move to an America like sprinters and they'll decide to compete for the American team.
That guy on the Clippers, McDermott, is that who's on the Clippers?
No, you're talking about my boy from Duke,
Luke Kennard.
Kennard. That's who I'd put on the team.
Yeah, he could play that forward role a little bit.
Yeah,
that's true. Even though he's really a guard. Moving on. So the finals are set. Bucks versus Suns. Giannis has been updated to questionable as of this morning. Who do y'all got in this series? Like, what is this? Is this even something y'all are really looking forward to? Who y'all think? Who y'all got in this? What do y'all have to say about this?
I'll go real quick. If the Bucks, if like Giannis can come back and give them 90%. Or even 100%, depending on how he heals, depending on how many stem cells he's getting shot up in that knee. If Giannis is 100%, I'm taking the Bucks. I feel like they match up with the Suns perfectly. This is the Suns' worst nightmare as far as matchups go because they can guard everything that they do well because they have length at a lot of positions and like Drew and Chris Paul. That's going to be a hellified point guard matchup. I cannot wait to watch that. Giannis can guard DeAndre Ayton for what he does. And then, Brook Lopez just creates, as we saw, that extra problem down there because he's still got some game. He can, he can pull your center out of the paint, or he can just sit down there and be a big body. Like he's not washed, and he's certainly not as bad as people have ever made him out to be. He's just never been featured.
He just loves Coach Bud allowing him to be a small forward.
Do you remember when Brook Lopez was like the guy in New Jersey or in Brooklyn? Yeah. Like he was like 20 and 10 at pretty much ease every night. He was a problem. So like a lot of people are like, oh, Brook Lopez is soft. It's like, well, no, he's like, hey, look, I've got a 2-time MVP on my team. I'll let him do all the work. So I feel like the Bucks, if healthy, can take him. If Giannis isn't playing, I don't think they stand a chance to take on the Suns team. So I'm going to hedge my bets on that. If healthy Giannis, the Bucks win. If not, the Suns win.
What if just real quick? What if like Giannis comes back in like Game 3?
It's going to be close enough that losing 2 games, giving up 2 games without Giannis can really kill you because I feel like this is going to be a 7-game series. So, no, I think the Suns would still take it if he doesn't. If he misses 1 game, maybe, and then you could just chalk that up as like a game you just lost. But no, I think 2 games. If he misses 2 games, it's the Suns.
I'll say I really don't give a shit, but Suns. I say Suns in 5. Fuck the Bucks.
Fuck the Bucks. Usually, I feel that way about teams that beat us, but I mean, I've always sort of liked Giannis.
I like Giannis.
What'd you say,
fuck
Bryce?
Everybody else on their team.
Right. I mean, I like Giannis, but
Chris Middleton and his oblong shaped head.
Gollum.
Right, eyes are like right. No, man, that's some ugly mother. Like him and Drew are both pretty ugly motherfuckers. But I will say that I think the Bucks got this in 7. What's up?
14 minutes ago, ESPN announces that Giannis will be playing in Game 1.
He is. What is he made out of? Like, how do you have an injury like that and come back in less than 2 weeks?
People are like, "Oh no, he's out for months." Oh wait, no, he's gone for 3 games.
Right, and he was right on the sidelines.
Need to get him tested for adamantium in his knees.
I mean, they call him the Greek freak, not just for him being tall. So
that's crazy.
His brother. Why did his brother not get those genes?
They obviously stretched Giannis out at birth because he got 5 inches on his.
It was like that movie Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Giannis got all the good genes, and then Thanasis just got whatever was left in the tank. It was.
And then what's the one on the Lakers?
The third, whatever his name is, the other one.
I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Costas?
Yeah, Costas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. You just see that, like that's like Michael Jordan with his sons. Like he's 6'6", he got 2 like 6'1", 6'2" sons. It's like sometimes those genes just don't. Only one person usually gets the nice genes.
They're the opposite. They're the opposite of the Ball family.
I was thinking of Francis, which is the other.
There's 3 of them.
There's 4.
God,
there's 3 in the NBA, but Francis is the other one.
Yeah, they're the opposite of the Ball family, where you got the two ends had that got the talent, and then the one in the middle was just kind of.
Well, he could have been in there too if he didn't screw his life up.
Well, I mean, if you think they got shafted, y'all should look up Francis.
What is he, like 6'2"?
Hold on, let me open this in new tab.
I mean, that's like you look at KD's dad. KD's dad could only be like he's only like 6'3", 6'4". So I don't know how the hell KD shot up to 7 foot, but his mom's big too. So
here, let me bring this up for everybody. There we go. For those of y'all viewing at home, this is Francis right here. I'm gonna send this to you guys in the chat so y'all can see it as well. But yeah, this is the Francis brother that we're talking about. You've got Giannis, Thanasis, what's his name? Thanasis, and then Costas here, and then Francis.
That's Francis. What is he, the manager?
I don't know what he is, but man, I would be pissed.
He manages their water bottles.
Like, you're 7 feet, you're 6'6", you're 6'5", you're at least like 6'4". I'm like 5'9". Like,
so which one? These two, I'm assuming, are not in the NBA. The
Correct.
2 short ones. And then I think this is the one on the far right's on his team. The one on the far left's a champion. That's pretty funny.
Oh man, all the genes skipped that brother.
Yeah, right. You don't even look like them. That's crazy.
He must have had a different daddy.
Right.
That's all I can think of because he doesn't quite look like them either.
It must be a different mom though.
He honestly looks more American than all of them.
Because I mean, Giannis has both Nigerian parents, doesn't he? He just happened to be born in Greece.
In Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not figuring out that.
I think their mother and wait, aren't they? They're all the same father, right? I thought he had mentioned that his parents have been together forever.
We'll dedicate a whole episode to this.
Yeah, the Giannis brothers. That's what we should do.
That's the Kumpo.
So, it's just an interesting news. I think it's Torrey Craig, who plays for the Bucks right now. Regardless of who wins, he will receive a championship ring because earlier this season he was traded from the Suns, and ended up on the Bucks. So good for him. I'm sure he wants to be on the active team that he's on there. So, and my prediction is I say Bucks in 7. I just think that first of all, Adam Silver, like I said, he really wants Giannis to win this championship because he wants to validate these MVPs that he's been throwing at this dude. He did he's the first player since Jordan to win an MVP and a defensive player of the year in the same. So to finally get him a championship would validate all this. And, and also the way that we didn't talk about it, but this finals is stretched out all the way till the 22nd, like a 3-week finals. Like, what in the hell is this all about? Like,
well, that's if ridiculous. It goes 7 games.
That's what I'm saying, but that's ridiculous. And we're all predicting it probably will, right? I mean, no. Well, Micah said it goes 5, but
who'd you pick, Micah?
He said Suns in 5.
Okay.
So I mean, that's just
looking for Francis.
Oh, they're giving Giannis all the time to go sleep in the hyperbolic chamber, and
I'm trying to figure out what was the name of that one player who won 2 rings with Golden State. Then he winds up going to Toronto and winning a ring with Toronto, and never stepped on the floor.
He was a guard, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was. I mean, he barely. It was like Murray. Something.
It wasn't Murray. It was. I can see him. I can imagine. I can see his face right now, but he was trash.
Patrick McCaw.
Yeah. I was talking about him earlier, and I was like, there was one dude who just happened to be in the right place at the right time, all the time, and like it'd be like, bruh, how? Like you're barely staying above G League level, but you always manage to be on the championship team.
Yeah, if you go to the Toronto Raptors and they can't turn you into a starter, then you're done in this league because their whole team is G League.
They develop players up there.
Nick Nurse is like, yeah, bro, you don't have a shot.
All right. Jeremy Lin himself was on that squad, and he's out of the league now too. So both of those dudes. Yeah, if you can't make it on the Raptors, then you have no place in this league. Which is fun. And also about the guy, what's my man's name? Campaign. I guess in his first couple years, I guess he was on Chicago, and they were like, after the second practice, they were like, this dude is not an NBA player. He got the last laugh now, though.
He might be the X factor in this series.
Yeah, definitely. He's just on campaign. Like he's like a Westbrook. He obviously took after Westbrook a lot, like in terms of his play style. Like he's not a very good distributor, but he's like a full straight head to the basket, like energy guy, and he can shoot better than Westbrook, so I'll give him that.
Well, shit, most of the league can shoot better than Westbrook.
So we could all shoot better than Westbrook.
I can probably come out of retirement and throw up a few shots and be like, all right, Westbrook, let's go.
Shoot over 21%.
like Rondo said, shit, give me 12 threes in the game. I'm at least hit 5 of them.
Right, he didn't get a chance to do that though. So moving on to our Hawks, who unfortunately came up short on Saturday. Our very own Ryan was actually at the game.
Yes.
For our sideline coverage. After Trae Young attempted to play on his hurt ankle, but was clearly nowhere near healthy. Despite this, we put up a valiant effort, and notably, Cam showed out hitting, was it 6 threes or 5
6 threes off the bench.
6
It was
threes.
6 or 7.
leading a late fourth quarter charge that brought us within 6 points. But the referees more or less swallowed their whistles in that game. As down the stretch, John Collins got several plays in the post where he was getting hacked and whacked when we were close, and they never blew their whistles. And the Bucks were able to capitalize on that and pulled away, and were able to make their first finals since the 70s. So just revisiting that game, how did y'all feel about that game 6? What were y'all's feelings just watching it, and what kind of things did you take away?
I was pissed.
About what?
I mean, just the fact that it seemed like Cam was the only one that cared, in my opinion. It was just like, bro, like somebody got to show a sense of urgency, and it's like, bro, like, why is this dude who's on limited minutes leading our team in scoring right now? I'm like, I can give Trey an excuse because he was clearly not healthy, but like Herter. Like, bro, Herter looked like Russell Westbrook out there. He was firing up brick after brick after brick. Bogey looked like he was scared to shoot half the time.
Ooh, that pump fake and oh man.
And Collins, like, it pisses me off when I see a legit big man match up with a guard and you settle for a turnaround jumper. Now it works. It works on occasion. Okay, that's fine. But bruh, you legit have Drew Holiday by like 15 to 20 pounds. Back him down and throw it down on his head. You can dunk on Joel Embiid, but you don't even want to attempt to dunk on Drew Holiday, who's like 5 inches shorter than you are.
Just on that, while I remember, like, the thing that made me so upset every time anybody posted up Drew Holiday, instead of just going at him, they would wait for the double team to come over and take the ball out of their hands. Like, just go at him. Like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. Now, granted, I mean, I know he's strong for his size,
Very strong.
Like I said, bruh, you're so much bigger than him.
Right, just a quick spin.
Be aggressive, yeah. Be aggressive, because what was happening was he kept settling for that turnaround jumper. Drew Holiday wasn't even trying to contest it because it's like, you're doing what I want you to do. You're settling for a jumper instead of backing me down. Not to mention, if you back him down, you force him to use energy to try to play you, and which can drain him on the offensive end, which he hurt us on the offensive end. It's just like, it's simple stuff like that. And not to mention, Capella was one of our most aggressive offensive players. The dude who can't get his own shot, he's the only one who was getting offensive boards. He's the only one getting putbacks, and then he missed some of those putbacks because he's just like flipping it back up. And it's like, bruh, this is ridiculous, bruh. Like, the fact that they are beating us to loose balls, and like I said, the only one who seemed to truly care and show any sense of urgency was Cam Reddish. It's just like, bruh, like I told one of my coworkers, I said, I was pissed about the outcome, but I was optimistic about the future because Cam Reddish looked to be every bit of what I thought he was going to be. And we know Hunter looked like that before he got hurt, and then Trey. So I'm optimistic about those three, but I was
save the John Collins thing. We're going to talk about.
Well, no, I'm not going deep into that. I'm just saying, okay. But I was like those three definitely. But you know, it was frustrating that our season ended like that.
Yeah, I mean, they came out the gate scared. I think they had the energy from the jump because watching the guys at first, you know, they were super hyped and they're like, Trey's back, we got that energy, and then there was the delay to start the game because that camera was going on. I don't know if y'all saw that on TV or not, but one of the cameras behind the backboards wasn't operating right, so they had guys up on ladders trying to fix it. So that's delayed the start of the game. I was like, oh no, that's never good for an energy game. Like when you got to come out and you get delayed by 10 minutes and you're literally standing out on the court like, all right, what do I do now? And I think I timed it. It was like 7.5 minutes actually is what it delayed the game. That's never good. Kevin Huerter, there from watching everything, I'll say watching it that close, and this isn't like a brag. It was just like I didn't realize this. You see their intent a little bit better than you do on TV because I hate that side angle that the TV gives you. I've always said I would much prefer a baseline view, behind the ball type of view, so you can kind of see what's going on, kind of like a 2K view. For any of y'all that have played NBA 2K and you switch the camera to the 2K camera, you're down and looking at the court and the goal, so you can see the movements a whole lot better. But their whole game plan was to pick and switch onto Kevin Huerter and attack him. They were going at Kevin all day long, and Kevin got it in his head that he was about to be game 7 Sixers series or game 6 Sixers series. Kevin, I forget which one it is.
7.
So game 7, Kayvon again, and it just wasn't there, and it wasn't falling. And he kept trying to force the deal, the issue, and it just wasn't falling. And watching it from the first quarter, I looked at the guy that was sitting next to me. I was like, they got to yank Kevin. They got to put Cam in because you're sacrificing Cam's defense when you put Kevin in. Like Cam will bring you great defense and can give you spurts of offense, at least before we had seen that night. He could go in streaks, and he at least attacks the basket and attempts to get people in foul trouble. Kevin just isn't that. He's more of a finesse type of shot creator. He's not going to go in there and try and bang on him. He's not going to try and create contact and things like that.
He'll get all the way there and then
he'll do he's kind of like Joe Johnson in his play style, in all honesty. Big and can be physical, but prefers not to absorb contact on his shots. So I'll put it, quite a bit on Kevin because he made some really bad decisions. He was very indecisive on his passes. He was taking bad shots, and he was just really trying to force the issue. And he played so many screens too lackadaisical. He chose to go under and still got beat to the basket. And it's like, come on, man. If you're going to take the under on it, you can't get beat to the lane.
Right.
You can't. And he wasn't there for us. And that, again, put us down in the first quarter fighting uphill. And, second quarter is when they really started. I'm sorry, third quarter. Third quarter is when they really went at Huerter and was like, this is where we forced the issue here. And we put we drive the nails into the coffin. So I blame him, but that a lot falls on Nate. Like he did a good job of it last series and, the games up to this, but I feel like you should have came out the gates in the third quarter with Kevin being on the bench and Cam getting the starter minutes. And we fell behind. I think we got up to like 22 at one point before we battled back.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't there. Trey, of course, was not 100%. They were using him as an off-ball decoy. You don't do that with Trey. So.
But I do think Nate's hands were tied because he did say that he alluded in one of his interviews, and he said that Cam was on the proverbial pitch count. Essentially, they did have him on restricted minutes because of the injury. He
ended up playing. It was funny because when they asked him, because he was actually on a 22-minute restriction, but when they asked Nate, like, he has about 6 minutes left to play. This was like at the start of the fourth. He was like,
yeah.
He knew he was about to break that because Cam ended up playing 28 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yeah.
He knew he wasn't going to stick to that. I mean, it's the last game of the season. So.
Right. You got. I mean, at that point, like Cam would gladly step in and try and play those minutes. Like he's like,
I think
minutes be damned.
I think he tried to stick to that minutes restriction, but
Kevin was playing so bad.
Oh yeah. Because I was, matter of fact, I was telling my dad during the game, I was like, we got to get Huerter out of the game. He was like, well, Huerter potential offense. I said, but he's not hitting shots. I said he's not hitting shots, and Chris Middleton is wearing him out on the defensive end.
Middleton figured him because he did well in a couple of those games in the series on Middleton, but Middleton figured him out after a certain point. It's like, okay, you can't stop me, bro.
Yeah.
So just what I took away from it at the very beginning, I don't know if you being there, Ryan, you could see this, but when they had Trae Young's face like when they were showing his face at the beginning of the game, he sort of had like this very calm, resolute look, and I didn't like that because to me it looked like he knew he wasn't good to go. Like he knew that he wasn't going to be able to contribute on a high level, but he was just like, okay, well maybe we can pull this off. So I think that was the first thing I noticed. And then obviously that proved true when he started playing and couldn't like, especially when he did his signature cross, did the step back, and then it was on Brook Lopez and he had the space, but then he passed it. And I was like, yeah, he is not Trey right now. And besides that, obviously you've said everything. You know, Kevin Huerter was a big part. We needed him to step up big. Go ahead.
Lou Will was a guy I meant to mention as well. He did not step up enough in that. Once Trey was down, like he was very passive. Very
over
passive.
11 minutes. So
5-2. Game 5-2.
I'm gonna say a lot of it. So and then other than that, Cam Reddish obviously was very impressive. He's a gamer. The only thing I'll say about Cam Reddish is that his defense is good, but it's slightly overrated because he plays very like he takes a lot of chances. He plays some of that Jordan Kobe defense where he's like taking a lot of chances, and sometimes that helps, but you need the whole team to be on one thing if you're going to take those chances. So he would take a lot of gambles that would lead to easy buckets. And I noticed that, but then, so it would be a lot of like, okay, he hits this 3, but then they go right back down and hit another 3. So it was a lot of equaling out all of our blows.
The third quarter was a lot of that where it was Cam, because it was happening right in front of us.
Yeah.
And Cam was lost quite a few times on defense.
Yeah. So that's where I like DeAndre is clearly a better player than Cam at this point, but Cam is so valuable. Other than that, Bogey had a decent game, but he needed to do a lot more for us to win. And I say all that to say this. I think that we might have been better off not playing Trey. Because I think when we put him in the game, it almost like, I don't want to say gave us a false sense of security, but I think it put pressure on us to be like, okay, well, now we're like almost like because my way of looking at this, we lost. What was our score? 118 to so we lost by 11 with super undermanned. I think if Trey had a decent game, I mean, Trey only had what Trey have? 14 points or something. Yeah. 14 points, -5. I mean, he played an okay game for like a non-star point guard, but like if Trey would have had a normal game, I think we would have beat the Bucks in 6. Like if Trey didn't get hurt, I think we would have beat them in 6. Maybe even with Giannis there, because like Trey is unbelievable with what he can do in that plus minus. Like, and I think that just shows to me that how I don't think we're going anywhere in the future. Like, I think we're going to continually be a thorn in the side of all these teams that are supposed to beat us. And we're going to continually, as long as Trey's here, we're going to keep on quote unquote upsetting a lot of teams. But, yeah, say all that just to say, I don't think that we probably should have played Trey there. And I think the team would have played a little bit more freely. And you know what I mean? And then if we did just so happen to win, then maybe Trey would be more healthy in that game 7, or even if we lose, then it's like, okay, well, you know what I mean? The team feels better about itself knowing that they gave their all. But with Trey out there, I think it took, like Lou, for instance, when Trey is on the court being a decoy, he can't really, he's not going to be encouraged or confident to play that role of like the true facilitator, shot taker, so I think playing Trey was a little bit of a mistake on our part, and it is what it is. So, just real quick, how would y'all review the season?
I want to hear yours first, Marco.
Okay, so like I said, healthy, this team is the NBA champion. Like this year, especially, obviously, you got to consider the fact that a lot of teams were hurt, right? Like we didn't have to see a full strength Nets team. So we would have liked to do that this year, but healthy, this team is a problem. DeAndre Hunter is getting better. Like the fact that Lloyd Pierce, that saga was so trash, and we were all just waiting for the day for them to get him out of here. And we all sort of figured the team would be good. And obviously they exceeded all of our expectations, but I only think they exceeded our expectations so much because Lloyd Pierce was our coach to start this season. And if we would have had competent coaching the whole season, I don't think we would have surprised as many people, in terms of, okay, we beat this team, we beat that team. You know what I mean? We're good. Like, we're a good team. Trey is an excellent leader on the court. So I was just very impressed with this season. It was my favorite season so far as a Hawks fan, and I've seen a lot of seasons. This is by far my favorite season. We've lived through Josh Childress, Josh Smith,
the baseline bomber,
Joe Johnson,
Hey.
Jeff Teague, who was on the other side getting hype, hitting a couple threes, taunting the crowd. But yeah, I mean, I'm very positive about where we are going forward, just because, you know what I mean? Obviously, you got to catch lightning in a bottle to get this far, and it sucks to not capitalize because we know how hard we worked. And I know they're talking about, we accomplished so much. We didn't accomplish shit, and we worked so hard to get this far. But, that sucks. But at the same time, I'm hopeful that in the next 4 years we can win a championship. So, which is we'll get to that about Nate in a second. But y'all go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, let's not bash Jay Smooth. He gave us plenty of entertainment after the Sixers win. But now coming into the season, I thought we'd be a very good team, and I would have never thought that we'd be this close to potentially making it to an NBA Finals. It's all now. Granted, I kind of called the Lloyd Pierce getting fired and Nate McMillan taking over.
Like Connie didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. I kind of called.
Don't worry, we'll play that back for him because he's supposed to be coming on next week.
Okay.
But at the same time, it was a very good. This is definitely the most excited I've been as a Hawks fan. This is the best team that I ever remember us having, top to bottom. They're deep, talented, and I think Nate McMillan got as much out of them as he could. And I mean, in the end, now granted, none of the national media wanted to give us credit for it, but we were banged up down the stretch. We had a lot of key injuries that they talked about Giannis, but I mean, Hunter, the fact that Reddish didn't play until that series, like the third game of that series, in fact. Then,
Bogey, Trey.
Bogey was banged up. Trey was banged up. And we played through that, and in spite all of those injuries, we still prevailed. So, it was a very impressive season, and it lets you know how bad Lloyd Pierce was as a coach, because you had all of this talent in a team. You get fired, and you're 14-20 when you get fired, and that same team that you were failing with goes to the Eastern Conference Finals and legitimately had a shot to go to the NBA Finals in the same year, not like a season later. No, it completely turned around. It was like, yo, what are you doing? How bad are you that you couldn't get anything out of all of this talent that was on this team? And it was good to see in that perspective. But yeah, it was a frustrating end, but yeah, it was a good season.
Yeah. From 14-20, I mean, if you've been listening to 92.9 at all this last 2 months that we've been making this run, you've heard that from 14-20 to the best record in basketball in the second half, and upsetting the 1 seed and all that type of stuff. This was surely unexpected from where we were April 1st. It was really, really crazy. I enjoyed every moment of it. I was glad that I could watch more Hawk games instead of having to jump on the internet and pirate it somehow. I mean, view it legally.
How were you able to watch Hawk games illegally this season?
What do you mean? YouTube's YouTube TV's got to fix that, but hopefully that's done next season, and they do say that it's in the works. Anyway, it was fun, a lot of fun, and you got to see a lot of these young guys just really develop under Nate, because one of the things that stuck out the most to me in all these interviews and all these things that came out when Nate was really putting things together was when they asked Kevin Huerter the difference between, Lloyd Pierce and Nate McMillan. He said, Nate's a great coach. He really got in here and he organized things, and he gave us some defined roles, and he ran plays that worked best for us. Whereas Lloyd Pierce just kind of put us out there and said, go be basketball players. And I was like, wow. Yeah, this is straight from Kevin Huerter's mouth.
It's not like an AAU coach.
That's exactly what I thought as well. I was like, you're not a good X's and O's guy at all. Like,
see this ball, play.
Yeah, like, play what? It. Y'all know, he essentially said, y'all played basketball long enough that y'all know what to do. Go be athletes and go play basketball.
Meanwhile,
that makes a lot of sense why we couldn't close anything.
Meanwhile, he's bashing Trey the whole time. Trey, you're terrible. You are horrible, Trey. This is the worst point guard I've ever had in my life.
Right, he's like talking to the other coaches. I don't like that guy. I don't like this kid. Kid's a punk.
It just really, I mean, it. Once you heard that, you're like, man, I knew I wasn't crazy in thinking we had all this talent. I knew I wasn't crazy in thinking all this, because once put in a system that's coached by a real NBA coach and one who understands how to acclimate to the new climate that is the NBA and the way that a lot of these guys are. It's not the rough and tough NBA of the 80s and 90s, and it's not the tough guy NBA anymore, and it's all about this. Nate did a great job. Nate did an absolutely top-tier job in managing these guys, creating a culture here, creating a desirable free agent destination, keeping the identity of the players intact while still forming a team. I think that's one of the hardest things to do, because when you look at the Lakers, whose identity do you see on that team?
LeBron.
That's it, right? You just see LeBron. You kind of see, it's hard to, in Brooklyn, it's hard to say that because those are three, superstars that are there, and they all have unique personalities. But, you look at the Bucks, you see
Giannis.
Right, exactly. Like, when you look at the Hawks, you see all these different personalities, and you see this just these kids having fun. And let's be honest, they're kids. Like, most of them are no older than 23, except for the veterans we brought in. And even still, like, not Solo, but Capella's only 27. Yeah, like Lou's the old man of the.
But he's old. He's young-minded.
Will's like 34, and he's like old enough to be half these kids' father.
Honestly,
but he's still hitting the strip club more than anybody.
He took that uncle role with Okongwu. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun to see, and a lot of fun to witness and believe in. So I really enjoyed it. Great season. Unexpectedly great season.
So just coat telling off what you just said. Nate McMillan was re-upped for a 4-year deal. So I'm not really going to ask how much y'all like this move, because I know you love it. This is the smartest thing they could possibly do. Nate has always been a great coach, severely underrated. I don't know what Indiana was thinking of getting rid of a guy who, with literally like injuries and like one good player on his team, was always able to stay at the 5 seed, or better. 4 through 7. He was always just there with no talent. And now you see, with a banged up team, but a superstar and great pieces around him, he made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So,
and honestly, outcoached Bud.
Yeah, he did, really did.
I will say this though, Indiana might really have screwed themselves now
with getting Rick Carlisle.
Well, no, not Rick Carlisle, but they brought Lloyd Pierce on as the top assistant coach.
Oh, is that where he ended up?
Yeah, Rick Carlisle hired him as his top assistant. Yeah, no.
Wait, are you sure? Is that what it was?
Uh-huh.
I thought it was I thought you said I thought it was somewhere else.
Yeah, he's in the Pacers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Rick Carlisle was one of the ones who spoke in defense of him.
Right. He was the main one who defended him.
Yeah, and so he hired him as his top assistant, and like, bruh,
You're gonna be up there shitting on T.J. Warren. He's like, oh, this guy, he's just a Costco Kawhi. Like,
Malcolm Brogdon, who is this guy?
Have you seen his haircut? I hate this kid. He's
Sabonis is just overrated. His
dad was better. His dad was so much better than him. This kid will never be great. It's like, what, Lloyd? You're on our team now.
This is my role now.
I'm
your worst enemy.
He's gonna get fired, and he's gonna go on radio stations telling teams how to slow down the Indiana Pacers.
I hate you, Lloyd Pierce. I had so much faith in you because they touted you to be this this player developing defensive genius.
I won't even give him that much credit.
I mean, that's what he was supposed to be when he came out of Philly, though.
But I was like, Philly didn't play no damn defense when he was there. They were like the worst team in the league for all the years he was there.
They were trusting
I don't know.
the
I'm
process.
just relaying what they told me, Marco.
And then 2-3 weeks into the first season, I was like, yo, why is he playing Jeremy Lin more than Trey? I was like, get this dude out of here.
Hey, I will give him. They were trusting the process when he was there.
It just makes me laugh. The whole Lloyd Pierce experience was hilarious. Just take these L's, bro, and go sit somewhere.
Honestly.
Man.
So to what Michael wanted to talk about. So John Collins. There's been a lot of obviously throughout the whole season. There's been a lot of talk about John Collins. And whether we should, match his deal whenever he gets it, or give him a max. We offered him $90 million. He turned it down. He obviously wants in that 120 to 150 range. So I want to go to you, Micah, since you brought this up. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think we should match what they offer him? Should we sign and trade him, or what do you think we should do with John Collins?
I feel you give him his max deal, and then you sign and trade him to the New Orleans Hornets, package him and Herter, and get Zion and Josh Hart out of the deal.
What GM's gonna take that deal?
That's what you got to do, man. You got to do. Their value is high now, just because Zion wants out of New Orleans. He does want out of New Orleans.
And the owners are like, so.
but you could do that. I think you could, and maybe throw a pick in there, throw like a first round pick in there potentially, and just be like, look, Zion wants out. We'll give you John Collins, who can be 15-9 guy, 18-9 guy on the right situation. You get Herter, who can score, and then let us get Zion, and and like I said, maybe Josh Hart. Like I don't really care about the other piece, but it's one of those things. Just kind of like get us a solid backup point guard. But like ultimately, I'd do that deal, get Zion out of New Orleans, because I think he'd be a better fit for what we need than what John Collins is right now.
That was very decisive. Ryan, what do you think about this?
You're muted.
Damn it. I would love to get Zion back out of the deal like that, but I think we would have to mortgage our future to do that. I don't think
or we can get Bol.
I love John Collins. I love what he brings to this team. I love that article that he put out. I love that he's that try-hard guy. I don't know if y'all read the article or if it's people watching, if y'all read it, but essentially John Collins has always been the other guy, and he was never a 5-star athlete. He never got recruited by big colleges. He never, had those mixtapes. Like he said, his mom was probably half of his mixtape watches on YouTube. Despite him being a freakish athlete, he didn't really get that type of love coming out, and got an offer late because somebody knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody, and called in a favor on him. And he went up to not Purdue,
Wake.
to
Wake Forest.
I always do
Which
that.
is honestly what you said is one of the same reasons he was drafted, because we had Wake Forest guys in our
Exactly. So I mean, I love those type of guys, because that's what I was the try hard guy. I had to try really hard to be any good at it. I just wasn't blessed with athleticism and things like that, even though John is. But I understand where he's coming from, and I think he's an important guy to keep around as far as culture goes. I'm just really going to need to see some development from John Collins this summer in a couple areas for him to really be worth a max contract. First and foremost is slowing down. He has to slow down his mental game when he has the ball in his hands, because you can see him overthinking and overprocessing. If you get him down in the post, he's fine. He moves real slow. Sometimes, as Micah mentioned, a little too slow when he has small guys on him, because he's comfortable with it there. But face-up basketball and asking him to create his own shot, he's just not there yet, or create shots for other people. He's pretty good at throwing that lob to Capella on the weak side, but other than that, he really doesn't have too much as far as a dribble drive, or create his own shot. I need to see the development that we saw out of Blake Griffin going up to Detroit. And I'm not saying become Blake Griffin, obviously, because we want a winner. But I'm going to need to see his ability to hit more jumpers, to create his own shots off the dribble, to at least get some type of dribble drive penetration going into the paint, other than a straight line, beeline dunk. He needs to get better touch inside as far as being a big, and I think that goes back to rushing things, because a lot of times if he got a rebound and he put it up afterwards, it just wasn't there, and some of those were bunnies. He missed too many bunnies, or gimmies, excuse me, to be that good. And lastly, he needs to just put on a little bit of strength down the paint, because
without steroids, John.
Yeah, without steroids. You need to put on natural strength. You really need to work on those legs and get some strength in there, and your quads and your glutes, to where you can just sit down and anchor against bigger guys, and you can drive little guys like Drew down in the paint. Because I was, being there, it looks a little different than it was on TV. And John couldn't push Drew.
Is he a true 6'9"?
Yeah, he's I would say a tall 6'8", small 6'9", somewhere in there. Cam was not as tall as
he looks on TV.
Well, no, he does. He looks tall. He's as tall as Nathan Knight, not as tall as John. So John might even be 6'10", honestly. And now that I'm recalling when I was doing that, I would say John's probably closer to 6'10". Nathan Knight's probably a short, 6'10", and Cam's just about as tall as those two. But yeah, he's got to put on strength. He's got to slow down, and got to be a little more comfortable at the basket, underneath the basket, I should say, because he's got so much explosiveness that he's got to be able to get up there and use that.
Yeah. On John, the way what I'll say about him is he's probably the most talented, skilled glue guy in the league. Because usually your glue guys like PJ Tucker aren't really that good at basketball. John is good at basketball, but then he also has those intangibles to do all the glue stuff, like get the hustle points, like rally the troops with emotion. He does all the intangible stuff that you don't necessarily see, and he puts up pretty good numbers for the fact that he was completely diminished in this offense. So I think what we saw with him not being able to, obviously you're right, he needs to work on his post moves, his lower body strength. I think he's already a pretty good 3-point shooter. Obviously his decision, like him and Capella on the catching offensive rebounds and not wanting to restart the offense, I don't understand.
I was screaming at Capella, pass it out.
He never does. It's literally not in his mind frame to pass that ball out when he gets it.
By the way, I think Cam heard me a couple times when I was yelling at him that Middleton's scared of him, because you saw him like really get up in him because I was like maybe 12 feet from them when they were in that corner. I was like, expose him, he's scared of you.
But so yeah, John, I think John is a very valuable player. Obviously, he's not worth. I mean, obviously, we look at max contracts the way we do these days. Like, even though max contracts, you can have like 3 max contracts on your team. I don't even know if he's really the third best player on the team, which poses an issue, right? But at the same time, I think his energy is pivotal for this team. So I'll be interested. Like, I won't be mad if we have to move on from him, if we have to sign and trade him. But I want John Collins to stay here. Like, I think he's a perfect fit for this team. And obviously, he's young. He's gonna get better. I mean, you assume so.
Right. He's what, 23 as well.
Yeah. Sometimes players, are just as good as they're gonna be. But even with what he is right now, like, he's a very good piece on a team where you have scorers around. Like, you need that kind of guy. You need a glue guy. Every team needs a glue guy, and we already have that in him. So it's like to find, because remember how when Golden State needed Iggy, like Iggy is another skilled glue guy. You know what I mean? It's that kind of player. But so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. He obviously has to improve. Like, I won't be mad with whatever happens. I know Schlank's a freaking wizard. He'll do what's right. But I hope we get to keep John Collins because I just really like him.
Would you be happy if we gave him a max?
Like I said, whatever we got to do, I'll ride with it. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna have to pay him. What is that gonna be? What's 120? Like 30 million a year plus. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And I don't necessarily think that will hamper our future, just because I feel like whoever you put next to Trey, he's gonna make them better. And DeAndre Hunter, like, we got to remember how good DeAndre Hunter looked. Like, he was gonna be a most improved player if he didn't get hurt. Like, he was right there, as he could definitely be our number 2 guy, and we don't even really need to look outside. But that comes to the next question, just real quick. I know this is running long. This will be pretty. After this, until the season starts again, these will definitely be shorter than this. What kind of moves, just just off the top right now, do you think that we could make to ensure that we either get this far or further next year, considering the landscape and that Brooklyn Nets are still going to be together and everything, and what do y'all think?
I've got some very defined moves that I not personnel wise, but I can give you examples.
Do you want to save this? Should we save this?
Yeah, if you want.
For maybe next episode. So
no, I mean, like, I don't. Okay, I can get through it pretty quickly. And as far as what we need to do, we've got to be able to get more contribution from our bench. We need a true defined what Lou Williams used to be type of player, like a Jordan Clarkson type of player. You bring him in, he's the leader of your second unit. He's gonna get you buckets. He can go off for 30 some nights. Type of veteran, or even if we get lucky, find him in the draft, because where we're about to fall into the draft, you can find those type of guys typically. They're not like great starters. They're not bad bench players, but they can
real quick.
develop.
Do you think Kevin Herter could be that?
Well, that's what I was about to get into. We've got to define the roles for Kevin Herter and Cam Reddish. Is Cam our starter? Is Kevin the starter?
No. Kevin is not the starter.
And I think we saw glimpses of what Kevin Herter is in the playoffs, and that is that sixth man. That's that guy who can come in and get you buckets on some nights, and then others you're like, oh, God, man, you just don't have it. Like, you just don't have it. You're too hot and cold. So I don't think what you're sacrificing defensively, and not to say Kevin Herter is a bad defender at all, because he's not. He's a try-hard. He can play decent defense, and he plays smart defense. Because I think he was kind of like me. He was always physically outmatched on the court, and he had to learn how to do those type of things well. Play defense correctly, so it makes up for your physical inabilities.
But he is long.
He's very long. He's a very long 6'8", but he's 6'7", 6'8", but he doesn't have long arms, and he doesn't have big hands. So, and he's not really strong either. Yeah, so you got to play fundamentally sound defense when you're deficient in those areas. And what I think one of the most important things that we have to do is we have to find a second string center that can board. Like, we got to have someone in there, a big 7-foot guy who's a defensive presence and can board on those nights where we run into a Joel Embiid or we run into Giannis. Right. We got to have someone that we can throw in that's not 6'9" and not 6'10", trying to, bang with true 7-footers that weigh 280 pounds. We've got to do that. And I think that'll help us more than anything, because offensive rebounds absolutely destroyed us in this Bucks series, if we're honest. Like,
even in the Philly series, it was.
Yeah, but I mean, especially this. There were some like quarters where it was like, if they missed a shot, they were guaranteed to get an offensive board.
Yeah, it was disgusting. PJ Tucker was grabbing every goddamn thing he could get.
And he was just hustling to him. He was punching him out.
What's called the eyes? Bug eyes.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Portis.
Yeah, Bobby Portis.
Bobby Portis.
So, yeah, we need a Bobby Portis type of player. He's only 6'10", but he's 250. Like, he's a big, mean defender, too. So that's what we need. John Collins, needs to develop it, but that's going to happen anyway. He's young.
I mean, I kind of said my piece earlier. I think you might have to move some pieces. Some of those pieces.
Just like the John thing.
Yeah, I do think a 7-foot, like a legit 7-footer coming off the bench would help. In like I said, especially now. I mean, Okongwu, I love Okongwu, and he's tough. He's tough, and he's a good defender. But it was a problem. Brook Lopez length was a problem for him. It was just nothing he could do. I mean, he's 4 or 5 inches shorter than Brook Lopez, and Brook Lopez is super long. So, like, on those alleys, yeah, Okongwu can jump, but I mean, you could just throw it up so high, and Brook Lopez barely has a jump, and he's well above the rim. So, yeah, I agree with that. As long as you don't bring in like Alex Len or Dwayne Dedman.
That's what I'm saying. But when you say like legit 7-footers, I'm thinking like, how many of those are there really? Like,
well, I mean, I'll take 6'11", 250.
Yeah, like say New Orleans wants to get rid of Jackson Hayes. I wouldn't mind a guy like that. Just
what about what's our guy's name?
Which guy?
Australian or New Zealander. What's my guy's name? Steven Adams.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, Steven Adams is a monster.
And coming off a bench, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily start him and play him significant minutes because he doesn't offer much on the offensive end. But
contract-wise, though, I don't think you can have Clint Capella and Steven Adams on the same.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Steven Adams is paid hefty because he's a great basketball player.
Right. Yeah.
Just in a terrible situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, yeah, there are some solutions that we could do. Like, that's tough. I would say DeAndre Jordan, but he yeah.
I mean, honestly, Dwight would be a great guy to bring back.
Oh, I don't know if I want him back though.
But, yeah, he's bad luck. But I'll say, I agree with you, Ryan. Like, I think we have everything. Like, we have all the scoring prowess we need. We have, all that. I think the most glaring part is just those hustle rebounds. Like, we were getting out hustled on every rebound, and I don't know if it's John Collins' size or he was overwhelmed or Clint Capella just couldn't, whatever it was. Like, we weren't boxing out in the right spaces. We weren't playing to the ball. So we just need a guy. Like, I know there's no Dennis Rodmans in the league, but we need a guy who's just gonna put his body on the line to get every freaking rebound, like PJ Tucker did for them. Like, he's not good at basketball, but he's so big that he's always in the right place for those rebounds to come to him. Like, so we don't necessarily need a 7-footer, but I think we just need more urgency on the defensive end, like hustling wise. And, like, cause you cannot allow that many offense. It's just, cause not only does it make it impossible to win, but it takes the crowd out because they see, like, because it kills every time a team misses so many shots, and you're like, okay, get the ball, and we're right back in this. But then it's like, oh, offensive rebound. Then they miss again, oh, offensive rebound. It's like, oh my god, come on.
We didn't end possessions. I'm gonna give y'all a list real quick because I know you want to get out of this, Marco. And I'm gonna list the name and their status, and y'all just real quick give me whether or not keep or let go. So
hot or cold? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying free. Okay, go ahead.
John Collins restricted. Marco.
Keep.
Let go.
Chris Dunn player option.
Let go. Go.
Go.
B Goody restricted.
Yeah, keep.
He's the best of our backup point guard.
Solomon Hill unrestricted.
Let go.
Yeah, you can let him go.
Nathan Knight restricted.
I don't really care either way, but I'll keep him. He's not going to cost anything to keep. And he's decent enough.
Yeah, I keep him just for depth.
Yeah, he's got enough athletic talent that I think you can make something of him. Because he's got some bounce in his step. When I was watching him in those games come in, I was like, good Lord. Skylar Mays restricted.
Keep.
Yeah, I'd hold on to Skylar.
Yeah. Tony Snell.
Actually, I'd actually hold on to Skylar. Wait, Be Goody played pretty good in some of those games when Trey wasn't there. He was hitting a lot of threes. He played better than Skylar, so.
I think he'll be better under Nate McMillan long term. You know, what's the name had too much influence on him.
He's a little slow though. He
is very slow. He kind of reminds me of Kyle Lowry in his first year in the league, honestly.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry, or like a smaller, what's that dude on Memphis?
Shooter.
Kyle Anderson. Yeah, Kyle Anderson.
It's almost like he's like him, where he's not really a true creating point guard. He's more so like I can put my dribble and get my shot off.
Yeah.
So I if it's between him and B Goody, I'm taking B Goody over Skylar.
Skylar Mays. Yeah.
Tony Snell unrestricted.
Let him go.
Let him go. Yeah, he didn't. We needed him, and he didn't even play.
Yeah. And then Lou Will unrestricted.
If it's like a Vince Carter thing, then maybe. Just because, I mean, I like the feeling. I mean, Trey raves about him. I'd bring him back just because, you know, he is Atlanta. He's that colorful veteran guy you can have on your team.
Yeah. You know? I think he mixed in with the young guys very well, and I think they look up to him and respect him. So yeah, bring him back.
But he is done. Let's get that.
He's washed.
He's washed. Yeah. And just to cap that off, Lou Will did post a hashtag on his last post where he was like thanking the city and the team. He said hashtag think I'm coming back, and I was gonna ask, are y'all interested? So that you just answered that. I said yes. Yeah. So that is it for the layup, aka the finger roll, aka Jelly Time, aka points of the paint. And by the way, Giannis is playing. Currently, they're down 31-35 in the second.
How's he look?
He looks a little bit like a couple steps slow. It looks like they're still trying to use Brook Lopez, how they did in those games against us. So they're trying to take a little pressure off him. I will say, but he does look a little slow. Jeff Teague just hit a 3. Wow. All right.
Damn it, Jeff Teague.
Jeffrey.
Oh, and
yeah.
All right. I think that brings us to our break. Or do y'all want to slide? How much baseball do you got, Micah?
I got to go
break. I need to use the restroom.
Yeah. So let's take a break here, and we will be back in a couple of minutes, guys. Peace. What's up, everybody? Welcome back from the break. Thanks for sticking around. I had one question for you, Marco, before we move on from the basketball thing, because I just thought of it. So we're all saying we're optimistic for the future, and we feel like we're building something special here. In just using the last 20 years as an example, I'd say let's stay in the 2000s. What type of young core rise to greatness, or rise to insert, adjective here, or noun, or whatever. Where are we at? Like, where do you think we can go to? Are we talking like Golden State? Are we talking, something like that?
You mean like who would I compare this to? Or
right, like with the level of talent that we have and the amount of pieces that we have, what do you think our next step is and could be?
Like I said, I think we'll win a title in the next 4 years. I don't know if in order to do what Golden State did, we're going to have to go get the best player in the league at the time.
Yeah, they did that before, though. He did that,
but still, they only won one. So,
I'll take one.
I think we're more like Isaiah Detroit Pistons, Golden State first iteration, not super team Golden State. That first Golden State run where they, took over the league in 2015, 2016. The only difference from that team, and I think what we're doing is a little bit more sustainable than what they did, because when they got hot, it was more of that the league just didn't play like that. And it took about 2 years for the rest of the league to catch up to what they were doing, So when they won, I don't think that team that won all those games was like one of the greatest teams in history. They just played in a style that people weren't ready for. Whereas, I think what we're doing is a little bit more like we're not on pace to win 70-something games, but we can beat anybody any given night.
Right.
And then, so like that Detroit, those Pistons teams with Isaiah and Joe Dumars, even though we don't play defense like them, but that kind of like being able to win, that's like literally, I think Isaiah Thomas is the only point guard that has ever been able to lead his team to multiple titles. And I think Trey can do that.
Well, yeah, because Steph only led him to one.
Yeah.
I'd probably compare him more to the Chauncey Billups Pistons team. A similar build. Ben Wallace and Clint Capella are similar. I Collins and Rasheed. I don't think Collins is versatile offensively as Rasheed Wallace
Or
was, but
defensively.
yeah.
Sheed was a hell of a defender.
She was a dog.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Hunter to me could be better than Tayshaun Prince was for them.
Yeah, he could easily be better than Tayshaun.
And then Bogey kind of reminds me of
Rip
Hamilton. So I mean, there are a lot of similarities in the way our teams are built.
Right. So we're them plus explosive scoring.
Yeah.
And minus the defensive because Ben Wallace was a lot better than Clint Capella.
Same type of team build, but different ways it's built.
Honestly, Okongwu has a very similar game to what's his name was defensively.
Like Ben Wallace was a monster.
Well, Ben Wallace was just strong. He was super strong, but
right. And he could jump out the gym. Like despite being a mediocre to below mediocre basketball player, he's still in the Hall of Fame just because he was so exemplary on defense. My comparison more so was Ben Wallace played a lot bigger than his physical stature, and I think Okongwu as a rookie played a whole lot bigger than his 6'9" frame. And he like we talked about in the Sixers series, as big of a problem as Joel Embiid was, he matched up with Joel Embiid a lot more tough. He did a much better job against Joel Embiid than Clint Capella did, and he's smaller than Clint Capella. So, but to Clint's credit, we only really saw that in like a game and a half because it just didn't happen that much. But I agree with you that he did a lot better job when he was given the opportunity.
Well, I mean, just like physically though, like backing him down and the taking away certain things, cutting them off, and it was just like Clint Capella looked overmatched in a lot of that series, and what's his name really held his own even despite being smaller than Clint Capella. So and not having the years of weight training that Clint Capella had to even get to the physical level to match up with somebody like that.
True.
Okay. I mean, I like both of those answers. I couldn't put it into perspective because I didn't know how much my bias was getting into it. It was like, did we just see a little bit better version of the Golden State Warriors beating the Mavericks in the first round type of thing, and this is our version of that, or what? I couldn't place it.
No, we're way better than that team.
That team was
Jackson, Baron Davis. I mean, that was just a whole bunch of.
I'm sorry. What was Steph's first moment in the playoffs?
Steph.
I mixed those up.
Before he won a championship, his biggest moment was I think in the first round. He took the Clippers to a game 7 or something.
Yeah,
he hit a couple big shots. Or I know he didn't have that much playoff success prior to winning a championship, but he had some moments.
Right. No Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals.
Like
yeah. Okay. Cool. You hear those fans? You smell those hot dogs, peanuts, and Cracker Jacks?
So now it's time for the suicide squeeze. The baseball time. All right. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about this, the egregious situation and the very wild situation that's going on with the Dodgers ace, Trevor Bauer. I don't even know if he's their ace right now.
One of their aces.
One of their many aces.
Formerly their ace.
So they finally released the details of what happened in this Trevor Bauer situation. And I'm not going to go 100% into all of them, but I will briefly summarize what happened. So essentially, Bauer had relations with the victim on 2 occasions. The first occasion, he choked her until she was unconscious and proceeded to continue to
sodomize her
while she was still unconscious. So after the encounter, they text back and forth and texted back and forth, and she said that she loved it and so on and so forth, and they arranged another meeting. However, before the second meeting, they had to come up with a safe word in the event that it got too out of hand and
he
went
tried to
too
kill her
far.
again. That he tried to murder her
My
again.
unsuccessful attempt the first time.
So, however, she never got to use that safe word because he knocked her unconscious after punching her in the face, in the head several times, and knocking her unconscious before she could use the word, and left her bruised and bloodied and battered, and in the event. So, he maintains that it was consensual because of the text that they had back and forth, and he apologized. However, he apologized and said, if he never intended to hurt her, but he said if things went too far, he was sorry. It wasn't his intention to hurt her. He just thought that she enjoyed the interaction. She was enjoying the interaction. So, what are y'all's opinion on what all happened? That's a little crazy.
I don't know how much of an opinion I can give it because, like, all right, so should we throw allegedly in front of all this? Because he hasn't been convicted yet, obviously.
Well, we didn't say that we didn't throw any words like rape or anything. So,
well, I mean, still, he allegedly punched her in the face until she was unconscious. I mean, it sounds pretty true. All this is
okay. Yeah, so
detailed.
we can say she was allegedly unconscious when she was sodomized, but she was definitely beat because the hospital reports indicate that.
But
no,
I'm not defending him here. I'm just trying to qualify that.
Well,
we haven't proven it yet.
Here's why I didn't say allegedly, because he hasn't denied any of this. He just said his defense is because she kind of confirmed that she liked it after the first time, and he just assumed that it was what she wanted. And like I said, he's not denying anything. And due to the text messages that they had back and forth of her kind of claiming that she liked it, that's what he's trying to say. I was just doing what I thought you wanted. And that's his biggest defense in this scenario.
Gotcha. Okay, I mean... Jesus, Trevor Bauer. How do I talk about this without giving up? Talking. Man, look. You're crazy, Trevor Bauer. You don't punch someone in the face till they're unconscious during sex, but I mean, maybe I just haven't had that type of sex. I don't know. Well, this is a very touchy topic, but from what it sounds like, and from what all the details that have come out point to, it sounds like he's an abuser. And it sounds like, he took advantage of this situation and pushed the limits of it because he knew that she said this, or he's just a nut job. But pretty much everything I hear, it sounds like he's in the wrong.
You got something to say, Marco?
Yeah, I'll say that Trevor Bauer needs counseling, because if not jail time, because obviously there's some sick, twisted things in his head. Obviously he's using his status as a rich pitcher to recruit random women on Instagram, and I don't know how you find someone on Instagram and determine that they're into BDSM type stuff. I don't know how you do that, but I'm assuming it was just some random girl that he was attracted to, and he inducted her, like, allegedly, we can throw that in there, inducted her into his sick sexual fantasies. And maybe there's a lot of things, you know what I mean? You don't know what her mindset was in terms of maybe she was just trying to, you don't know why she went back, right? But at the same time, it's like that's not necessarily on her, right? Because when she's there, I don't care what she texted you, how much she said, oh, I've never been so turned on before or whatever. Like, you don't punch, you should not get sexual. You should not link sexual gratification and violence together. And if you do, you have serious issues. And I don't have any problem saying that. Like, I think, yeah, some people get off on different things. That's true. But at the same time, if it becomes public and you are a public figure, a rich one at that, and you have these issues, you need extreme therapy or jail time, because who knows how many other women he's beat up and assaulted while they were unconscious. That's the main part. It's like you can't have sex with people when they're unconscious. So
unless they explicitly say,
right.
Yeah.
Right. I like unconscious sex.
I like being unaware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I understand how some people are trying to defend him, but I don't think that holds much weight just because the violent nature of what's happening here and the fact that, you don't know what kind of manipulation goes along when a rich athlete is recruiting normal girls.
And he's in a place of power.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts are, I can understand to an extent that people are into, people have their fetishes, kink, BDSM, whatever. And I understand that, some people, that's how some people get off, and that's, that's fine, whatever floats your boat. But, personally, there's boundaries, and I think, the lines are all kinds of blurred because, consent, we're in the Me Too, we're still in the Me Too era. So consent is a big thing. And how can someone consent to anything when they're unconscious? So whether she claims she liked it or not, if you're doing something to someone while they're unconscious, they truly can't consent. They can't necessarily consent to what you did because they didn't know that it happened because they were unconscious. And like there legitimately has to be lines drawn, boundaries. Like, they had to come up with a safe word because you were so rough the first time. And then you took it even further the second time. And it's just like, come on. Like,
it's almost like, did he start beating her because he was mad that she passed out again? It's like, because I think they said that he was beating her after she passed out and she woke up even more bruised up. So it's like, it just shows me an extremely entitled human being who has never heard no in his life many times. And, because who else gets pleasure out of, how could you strangle someone, knock them out, and then still proceed? How does your human instinct not kick in and be like, oh shit, let me get this girl a towel or something, or some water or something? No, you're like,
I just didn't kill her.
Right. Like, exactly. Yeah. Like, oh shit, did I kill you? No, he's like, oh, let me take this further. It's like, that's
that Ivan Drago, if she dies, she dies.
Yeah, like seriously.
But yeah, my thing is, like I said, there's got to be boundaries. Like there's certain, as a man, there's certain levels that I just physically can't cross, especially as a very strong man. I'm not crossing certain levels because the outcome outweighs the negative outcome that can come from that outweighs the pleasure in the moment that you could have. And there are things that I don't think I could ever do, let alone with him, he whatever came to his mind he was trying to do. And it's just like, bro, if he should spend some time in jail, and even and he needs to do some serious psychotherapy, because dude, if you're that sick and sadistic, you have a serious problem.
All right, a freaking sociopath or something. Like,
bruh,
get this dude out of here.
All right, so let's go to a lighter note, much lighter note than that.
Anything other than that, please.
Yeah. So they've made 2 new additions to the home run derby roster. So Salvador Perez of the Royals and Matt Olson of the Oakland A's now join that home run derby roster of Shohei Ohtani, Pete Alonso of the Mets, Trevor Story of the Rockies, and Trey Mancini of the Orioles. So there's still 2 slots that have yet to be filled, and they'll probably be announced sometime this week. At this point, I don't know who you could get because so many of the big name players have turned down the home run derby. Now, granted, I am glad that I see Pete Alonso on this because that's almost a guaranteed slump from a Mets player for the rest of the season, especially a key Mets hitter. But yeah, so like I said, sometime this week we'll probably find the other two names that they'll be listed. I have no idea who they could get though.
By the way, Matt Olson is a Parkview graduate.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta.
Who?
Metro Atlanta player.
Very good too.
So, speaking of another All-Star, Ozzy Albies was announced. It was also announced that Albies will be joining Acuna and Freddie Free in the All-Star game, but he'll be a reserve. So this is the second time being selected. Kudos to you, sir. You have been balling. And in other news, he also was named NL Player of the Week this week after batting .400 with 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, and a monstrous 1.167 OPS. That is crazy. So yeah, I mean, Albies has been absolutely balling as of late, and I think it's actually helped. They've moved him into that 3-4 hole, and it's really helped boost a lot of our run production as of late. And granted, outside of last night, it did help us. It's helped us win a lot more games recently.
What's our update on games behind?
We're still a good bit behind.
The next.
I think we're like 6 behind, if I remember. Let's see. We are 41 and 43. They're 44 and 37. So we played more games. We are 4.5 games back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's reasonable. We still got plenty of time to catch up. We just got to catch fire sometime soon. And fortunately, the month of August will get a lot of key players back. Also in other Braves news, reliever Jacob Webb has been called up to the majors. Which we need some bullpen. Hopefully he can be good. He can be, a solid addition to our bullpen. And he'll be taking the place of Pablo Sandoval, who, as Sandoval was placed on the restricted list due to a personal matter. Don't know how long Sandoval is going to be out. But yeah, they said due to a personal matter. It said it sounds serious, but it sounds bad, but it's not a bad situation. It's just something he needs to take care of, apparently.
Webb was really good for us last year, man. I'm glad Webb's finally back up and doing well.
Now, I won't talk about last night's shellacking that we faced at the hands of the Pirates, but what I will talk about is Sunday's game, the big win against the Marlins, where Max Fried was the hero with a walk-off RBI single. On Sunday's game. They chose to intentionally walk a struggling Kevin Smith, who's batting like 156, and to get to Max Fried. And Max Fried worked a 3-1 count and then hits the walk-off base hit with the bases loaded. And it was
beautiful
just like,
swing.
oh my God. Now, granted, I got super nervous because after he rounded first and he's backpedaling, looking at the team, I'm like, no, don't, don't hurt yourself. Stop, just stop. Yeah. So, but for the pitcher to be the most clutch player in that situation, yeah, that was huge. But yeah, and lastly, the former Braves perennial all-star, some might even say a legend, Andrew Jones's son his son Drew will take part in the all-star festivities in the MLB versus the USA All-American game Friday night. So and as of right now, he's poised to be a potential first rounder for the 2022 draft.
Okay.
And
We need a center fielder.
well, yeah, because Pache is struggling right now in AAA.
What's his son's name?
Drew Jones.
Drew. That's Drew.
Yeah, he just dropped the and.
So he doesn't have to be a junior, or is he a junior?
Drew and Drew.
Yeah, nah, I don't know if he's a junior. I think he goes by Drew, but I don't know if it's Andrew and he just calls him Drew instead of Junior, or he legitimately just named him Drew, DRUW. So I don't know, but I mean he is a stud outfielder. So yeah, I mean, and if he's anything, if he's even close to what his dad was on defensively and offensively, bruh, I would love to have him here in Atlanta. And
I can't see if his full name is Andrew or not. I was trying to do some research on it, but everywhere I see, they just list him as Drew. So
Probably is just Drew.
at least it's not spelled JRUE.
Oh,
Shots.
what's
What kind of parents
Justin
did he have
and
anyway?
Drew and what was the third one's name? Justin, Drew, and
I forgot. I can never.
Brothers.
That's like
Aaron Holiday.
Oh yeah, Aaron. The oddball in the mix.
Yeah.
Right, he's the normal name.
They're like, what else can we name you with a J?
Well, no.
Ryan, no, that doesn't work. Jamaica.
Aren.
Jaren. Nah, let's just drop the J and do Aaron. But no. You have Justin, Aaron, and Drew with a J.
Giroux.
And J-Rue. Nah, it's like it reminded me of Rayshawn Rondo, who was like, man, my mama making shit up. Rajon. Oh man. But but that concludes the Suicide Squeeze. On to you.
Do. Let's see. Let me find. There I am. Well, let's take it down to football and do a little grits blitz. As you all know, it's the offseason, a little slow. Not a lot going on. You kind of have to scrounge for topics to talk about. But sometimes they do fall in your lap as far as some of these things that we're going to talk about. But as far as your Falcons go, not a lot going on, guys. So we probably won't be talking too much Falcons football. We will get into a little bit at the end here, though. So I think we mentioned it 2 weeks ago when Cameron Kinley, the Naval Academy ensign officer to be, was not allowed to go to the NFL. I think that was 2 weeks ago that we brought that up. Could be a week. My times are blending together here. But
I don't think that was last week.
The head of the Naval Academy essentially told him, you're not allowed to go. You're going to have to continue your commission as an officer. Sorry, you don't get to appeal this. Well, the fight continued behind the scenes outside of the Naval Academy. And just recently, well, just today at 4 o'clock, actually, it was announced that he will be allowed to attend minicamp or camp for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Unfortunately, he's going to go down to one of our rivals, but he will be in camp. This comes on the heels of when he was at minicamp. Let me find the quote here so I don't get it wrong. So Bruce Arians, the Bucs coach, said, "I thought he showed promising signs when he was here." So he was catching praise from the coaches. They did take notice to him. He was good at Navy, and Navy and Army are now good enough to where they're getting some athletes that they can put on the field in the NFL pretty regularly. They'll put 1 or 2 guys out. They're not going to be stars, but they'll make a roster. So the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, is actually the one that granted him access to do this. So he overrode the head of the Naval Academy's orders and said, you know what, actually you are going to be able to do this. And part of that is thanks to Marco Rubio, of all people. Yeah. He fought the good fight for Cameron Kelly. This doesn't, support for the military is typically a pretty staunch Republican, not to say that there aren't Democrats, but the way that the Republicans blindly support the military and drive that home, that's pretty Republican. So he fought the fight. He brought it up with Joe Biden, was like, hey, you need to let this guy play. You need to get involved in this. We need to let him play. And he went on for weeks for it and fought the fight for him. And now today it's announced that he will be allowed to pursue his dreams and delay his commission into the Navy. Now, if you do well enough and you do it for long enough and you play like Alejandro Villanueva for the Steelers, you can be pardoned from your duty and they'll allow you to be a multimillionaire. If you're a guy who's going to go into the league and just do a couple years, then you'll probably still go back in commission as an officer.
I mean, that's like bad marketing it was bad marketing for the Navy for them to not allow him in the first place. That's why it's good that they're coming back and sweeping up this dirtiness.
What made it even more interesting, I don't think I have it here. I do not. Actually, so there were 5 total military officer candidates that had the opportunity to play in the NFL. There was, here we go, West Point's Joe Radigan. He signed with the Seahawks. The Air Force's Nolan Laufenberg and George Sylvanik, who signed with the Denver Broncos and Los Angeles Rams, respectively. All of them were granted the rights to do this, and they were either pardoned from their duty or they were allowed to delay their commission, and were allowed to do it. And he was the only one. Now, there are people in the past that have been denied this right, but it did look a little weird when there were 5 people or 4, I forget, 5 or 4 of them, and the only person that got denied was the black guy. So it was like, that's a little weird looking. So
it's funny though, because they're like, with the black guy.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this guy might actually make a career for himself. Let's keep him out.
But they are from different branches, so there is no oversight from one another. But it just looked weird.
So it's just the Navy guy though.
Yeah.
You said the Air Force and the Army guys all got
correct. Yeah, 2 Air Force guys, 1 Army guy, so 4 total.
I'm shocked that the Air Force had 2 people even eligible.
I mean, they put out some good athletes every now and then. I mean, in the Army, you work out for a living, and then you play football as well, so you get double the workout every day.
Nice.
So, yeah. In a little darker news here, one of the guys that I supported for quite some time, and on this show actually said was a guy that I would like to see us sign and possibly sit behind Julio to learn from him to become the next great guy, has found himself in quite a bit of trouble here, and that's Florida State's former wide receiver, Tamorian Terry. He was indicted on a charge of murder in a 2018 Georgia shooting. Terry was one of the 11 defendants named in the grand jury indictment related to the shooting death of 21-year-old Zacavia Smith in Ashburn, Georgia, which is south Georgia. On June 30th, 2018. Terry had signed as an undrafted free agent with the Seattle Seahawks earlier this spring, but the team waived him last Wednesday after learning of this news, which, any team looking at a guy potentially taking up a roster space that, came in as a guy who may not make the team anyway because one, they're loaded at that position, and two, at your senior year at Florida State, or your junior year, excuse me, he went there his senior year. He fell way off. Granted the offensive line play was bad and quarterback play was always in question there, but he really just, teams figured him out. They're like, if you put someone over top of him, he's not going to do much against you. So, you can't be a questionable guy on the field and off the field and expect to stay on a roster. And at this point, if this is true, or even if it's not, teams are going to kind of look at you like, who do you run with? Like, why am I going to?
State Farm is hiring.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think I mentioned it to Micah when the whole draft process was going, or the training before it. I was like, Marvin Wilson got off social media to focus on himself. All these other guys are working out, and then every time I saw Tamorian Terry, he was like at the club, or just like out walking around at 3 a.m. at night. And I was just like, "What are you going live for? Like, are you training?" And it looked like he was just like he had lost a lot of the definition in his arm, just like
he was high. He was just
are
high.
you? I mean, there were several times where I was looking at him like, man, those eyes are really red. Hopefully they're really red and you're walking because you're drunk. But if you're trying to break into the NFL, like hanging around in South Georgia with the people that don't got much going for them and doing those things at late at night, it ain't going to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, it's not true, and he gets a second chance. But if you read the indictment and the people that he's affiliated with, and they're all there too, they don't just name people, and they don't name that many people on accident and wait this long to do it. They typically have a pretty strong case against you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, enough people said his name.
Well, I mean, just the fact that you're in that situation in the first place lets people know that how bad of a decision maker you are, because you are influenced by all the wrong people, and you're, as a person with a lot of potential and the potential to do something, to be great at a sport, you got to be more intentional, and you can't just hang around with just anybody. But
right,
is what
especially when you're not even getting paid yet. Like you're not even on the big stage, and you're already taking advantage of the lifestyle that you don't even have yet. So it's like, yeah.
I mean, this guy from the 2019 to 2020 offseason, like coming out of the 2019 season, people are like, this guy could be a first-round pick. He could be, at worst, a second-round pick. And then the senior season happened, and it was like, okay, he'll probably be like a fifth-round pick to an undrafted guy, and then goes undrafted completely, and then doesn't even make it to camp. He made it out of minicamp, didn't make it to camp.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks, like I said, hopefully it's not true. And then if it is true, hopefully he learns his lesson and turns his life around. It's unfortunate that someone had to lose their life in doing so, though. Speaking of other silly things, and this is straight from the BNN, the Bryce News Network here. So reporting on the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't know if he's their starter. I know he's with the Browns, but Jaguars middle linebacker Joe Schobert says rookie Trevor Lawrence has a once-in-a-generation arm. Trevor's got an arm, a once-in-a-generation arm, and if he can put it together upstairs mentally for the rookie season in the NFL, which is always, as a quarterback, the hardest thing to do, we'll be very successful if we can get that all accomplished. First of all, who said Joe Schobert can announce anybody as a generational talent? Like, okay, I get it. You're an NFL athlete. You're one of the elite athletes in the world. But, sir, you've been in the league for like 5 seasons, maybe. You haven't made a Pro Bowl. You're not elite level talent. You're one of those. He's essentially Paul Warlow. He got a lot of tackles on a really bad team. None of them were tackles for losses. And after a while, people figured him out. So, like, to me, this is just a whole bunch of hot smoke, a whole bunch of rah-rah cheerleading stuff for your brand new quarterback. Not to say Trevor Lawrence can't be really good, but I don't take anything that Joe Sherbert says about people's talent level very seriously.
It's all relative though, because I mean he's been with Jacksonville for the last 5 years, right?
Well, no, he was on the Browns before that.
Okay, so that's even worse. So, like, who has he seen?
Exactly.
So, who is he comparing?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, and I don't know who else he's had the pleasure of being a QB in Jacksonville, but relative to what he's seen, I'm sure Trevor is the best thing he's put his eyes on.
Deshaun Kaiser.
Let's see. Joe Sherbert came into the league in 2016. 28 tackles, and then the next year in 2017 he started. Oh yeah, that's right. He did make the Pro Bowl as a backup. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because he had 144 tackles. 4 of his 144 tackles, 4 of them were for a loss. Sounds like somebody, Micah?
Very Warlow-ish.
Yeah, so
I'll tackle you 5 yards downfield. It counts. It counts as tackle.
I'm gonna get you.
So it's Cleveland for 4 years, and then
So Cleveland for 4 years, and then Jacksonville last year, in which he had 141 tackles, again on a bad team.
yeah, but you're focusing on the wrong things. Who is his quarterback?
Yeah, you're right. I'm just trying to build the case for his skill and why I don't take it very seriously.
I'm just saying he has eyes and he's out there. He knows what's going on.
He's had Deshaun Kaiser. He's had Baker Mayfield. He's had
who was the quarterback for the Browns in 2016?
I'm looking right now. So 2016, it was Cody Kessler.
Kessler, yeah.
And then he went to Deshaun Kaiser.
Ooh.
And then he went to Baker Mayfield. And then Baker Mayfield again, obviously.
Yeah, and then last year on Jacksonville, it was a slew of like 30 different quarterbacks. They were just running.
Minshew mania.
Minshew got hurt
right.
at one point, so they brought in like 3 other quarterbacks.
Minshew still on that team, or is he a backup somewhere else? Okay.
People are saying he's going to be a trade bait.
I will say this though, bro, I'm so tired of everybody throwing around the once in a generation term. It's like people would, this guy's a once in a generation. Like, how many once in a generation players have we seen in the past like 5 years? I remember like Jadeveon Clowney came out and he's a once in a generation pass rusher. We've never seen anyone this great.
And the ones who actually are once in a generation, they never called them that. Like, Pat Mahomes once in a generation, or Deshaun once in a generation. They're like, maybe Deshaun's maybe he's a first rounder. It's like, wait, what?
Well, like look at like Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack didn't get deemed once in a generation type pass rushers.
Right. And
they're putting up way better numbers than a lot of the dudes who got all of the accolades and the recognition coming out of college. So, it's like you said.
Questions like, when's the last time have they been right about
once in a giving tossing it once?
They were kind of right about Andrew Luck, and then he once in a generation retired.
Right, he definitely did some once in a generation type of stuff.
But but even Andrew Luck was putting up Jameis Winston numbers in Indianapolis.
Yeah, but when Andrew was protected, he was balling.
Yeah, he was still putting up a lot of picks. He was still throwing like 17 picks a season, but
Peyton, they said Peyton was, and they were right about that. But he started off throwing a lot of picks,
but I mean, how Peyton got drafted in 98?
Yeah.
So to call him once in a generation in 98, it's been almost a full generation since. It's been 2 generations, like past millennials and Gen X and
Who is the last? Have they said that about a QB since Andrew Luck?
I think it was Lawrence. Honestly, it was the next person they deemed.
Trevor's the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that he'll be one of the better quarterbacks eventually.
Yeah, he's got all the pieces, like all of them.
I mean, but it's how much he loves to play football because
especially under Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Urban's got to be an interesting person to play for because I don't know, like you're always going to look at him like, are you dedicated? Are you going to be here for me? Are we sure, coach?
Like, do we have to cheat, coach?
Or as soon as we start losing, you'll have some miraculous heart disease that comes and you have to go back to college.
My Ohio State. I mean, my heart.
Right, Urban's the new coach at Notre Dame. It's like, what?
He's like, finally, my plan worked. I didn't. I've always wanted to coach here. So related to the silliness and drama surrounding football that comes around this time and usually involves people with big egos, we'll put it that way. So the Aaron Rodgers saga has continued to stretch on. Apparently he's had enough of the conversations about returning to the fold because in an interview ahead of his appearance on the match 4 on Tuesday night, Rodgers noted that the person doing the most of the talking is not always the person who is right. Sometimes the loudest person in the room is not the person who has all the facts on their side or the truth on their side, Rodgers said, per ESPN's Ben Baby, which when I saw that name, I was like, what an unfortunate name.
Ben Baby.
He said, sometimes there's a lot of wisdom in silence. So, I don't even really want to talk about this too much because it's a whole lot of interpretation and reading between the lines. But, quite frankly, I'm just tired of it. Like, are you going to play or are you not? If you're not, shut up and sit out because they've already said they're not going to trade you. You have the contract where a team can easily afford, and a situation where they can afford to just be like, all right, I guess this is what it is. We're not going to make any of our rivals better. So what do you guys interpret from Rodgers' statement? And do you realistically see Rodgers retiring before returning as a Packer, Micah?
Yeah, I could easily see him doing a Carson Palmer move. It's funny though. It's something about those NFC North teams that great players just love to like want to retire at an early before they're done. Just be like, I want out. Oh, you're not gonna let me out? All right, I'll retire.
Usually not the Packers though.
Yeah, typically.
Yeah, but not. It's typically the Lions. But we're staying in that division though, and that similar thing. Actually, what's his name did too. Because remember, Brett Favre threatened to retire almost every season.
That's true.
It was like 18 seasons. Brett Favre, almost 20.
Enough of this shit.
Almost 20 of the 20 seasons he played, he was just like, "I'm ready to retire."
I mean, hell, I wouldn't want to play in Green Bay, Wisconsin either.
Yeah, but
it's like when we do well, we have to play in terrible environments. Why would I want to do well here? Have you been outside in Green Bay, Wisconsin?
It's like, build a goddamn dome already.
We're tough. We're from Wisconsin.
Minnesota, actually. And then he comes back and plays in Minnesota, and that team fell apart the second year, and he was just like, I'm really retiring now. I'm done. I can't take this beating no more.
He got rock
and
bottom on the tundra.
He said I'll come out with the Jets.
Nah, but I mean, yeah, it's something about those NFC North teams.
Was it Packers, Jets, Vikings, or Packers, Vikings?
Packers, Jets, Vikings. Yeah.
Vikings was after he got body slammed on the ice, he was done.
Yeah, it's something about those NFC North teams. It just players just like they'd rather hang it up than play past their prime.
I mean, from judging by with Tom Brady, it was like talking. He was like, "Who is frustrated with their boss?" and blah blah blah. And he's like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron was like, "I'm not frustrated with my boss." I think Aaron will probably play this season just because he seems like a kind of guy who likes all the talk and drama, but he's not. I don't think there's any smoke with that fire. And as we speak, though, him and Bryson DeChambeau are up by 3 strokes
I hope
against
they beat
Mickelson
Brady.
and Brady. Yeah, there's two 17 and 18 left.
I just want to see Brady lose at something.
Right. And
So-
Brady's talking so much shit.
So you're saying
He's
Aaron
so
Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is essentially Brett Favre 2.0.
Yeah, but a lot less rambunctious. Like, because we don't really hear that much from Aaron. It's just like, I think he just likes all the hoopla. And then I think doing the whole Jeopardy thing, he just wanted to convince people that, okay, my mind is other places. Because he always likes to play that like Zen character. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, oh, no, I'm at peace. Nothing's. They even showed him
He's
driving
a
around the golf
thinking
cart.
person.
He's like singing. Yeah, he's a thinking. He told Bryson DeChambeau, they were like trying to talk trash. He was like, "Don't talk to them.
Don't talk to them. I've been around them enough.
Don't talk."
All he's going to talk about is his rings. It's so annoying.
RELAX. It's like, okay, Aaron. I don't think he's leaving. I think he's playing next season.
It'd be crazy if he did leave.
I'd like it though. I'd love it if he said "F this team," and because he is in our conference. So.
Take him out of contention. So coming also part 2 out of the Bryce News Network here. I'm going to read this as is. It says CBS Sports released a list on offseason potential players on the chopping block. In fashion, as someone who's never paid attention to Arthur Smith's offensive style or the Falcons' depth chart, Hayden Hurst was listed, and not for reasons one would think, such as financial discrepancy, but because Kyle Pitts, quote, applying pressure for snaps and receptions.
He's listed as a trade option.
I think what it says is that Hayden Hurst might be someone that we would cut or trade.
Cut?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
This is Bryce just boosting up Kyle Pitts again.
Well,
Kyle
I think
Pitts is the
what
greatest.
he's saying is CBS Sports is saying
He's using CBS Sports to.
this
to
actually isn't an article at all. This is just straight from Bryce's head. And
We
he's
know
like,
he's a bigger fan of Bama and Florida than Georgia. He likes every SEC team more than
Kyle Pitts is going to get 1,700 yards receiving this year.
we're gonna
But-
trade for Kyle Trash.
what were the reasons they listed, Bryce? Which makes me think that you did write this. And
Hit the chat. What is
Bryce, yeah, I'm waiting for you to explain yourself, sir, before I move on to the
I
next
couldn't.
stuff.
That's unfeasible that Hayden Hurst would suddenly.
Right, the guy that will probably be our number 3 receiving threat.
Yeah.
But
see.
I think what he's trying to say is CBS doesn't really know much about our roster or how Arthur Smith coaches. Because that,
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
yeah, so if that's what you're trying to say, Bryce, yes, you're right. This is we would never, ever release Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, CBS knows as much about the Falcons as Stephen A. Smith does.
fighting.
No, that he knows about football. Period.
Right, about any sport, but like Northeast basketball and LeBron.
So, in kind of some uplifting news, we'll close it out here. Many of you know who Josh Gordon is. Many of you have heard the name before. If you haven't, though, Josh Gordon is a NFL wide receiver or former NFL wide receiver, currently suspended NFL wide receiver who came into the league out of Baylor with all the talent in the world, and I'm like all the talent in the world. But he's had his
still
demons.
a free agent on Madden.
Yes, but he's not like He's not like Brown's Josh Gordon. I think he's like a 7. No,
Okay,
he was
you
on the
could still
Seahawks.
sign him.
Yeah, he's on the game for sure, but he's like in the high 70s. He's not like the 94 Josh Gordon that it once was. But so he's applied for reinstatement because he's passed all of the drug tests that the NFL has put him through in the past 90 days, and he's still got some juice in the tank, so he's going to give it another go. And hopefully he's got his demons under control. He has suffered from addiction to foreign substances. When first suspended, it seemed like a lot of his problems were with weed. But as it developed and he got, came back from suspension here and there and then played again, it sounded like he had multiple substance problems.
What was it, steroids or something?
No,
I think he got into coke, right?
coke. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a
Dang.
slew.
Yeah, I think he said anything he could try at that point. Like he was.
How do you pop on a drug test with coke? Doesn't that mean like you did it the day before?
Or like minutes before?
Right.
Ah!
Coke doesn't stay in your system that long.
Right.
Weed's pretty much the only drug that stays in your system.
I think the coke part came out as like self-admission later.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he popped for that, but
I was about to say
he definitely got caught for weed many times.
Have y'all? I don't know if y'all ever watched. It's a guy, a YouTuber, Flimlo Raps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he did a 2-part episode on Josh Gordon, and it was like wow, because I like Josh Gordon. I thought he was a great player, but I didn't know his story. He talked about him in high school getting wasted before high school games and putting up like 200 yards receiving in high school games, while drunk.
Is there like family trauma, or is he just used to playing?
Oh,
I think he's got an addictive personality, right?
But but I mean, he was extremely poor, like ridiculously poor, and it was just kind of his escape, and it was his escape from the terrible situation he was in, was to get high or drunk or something, but he was so freakishly athletic that he could still like be under the influence and still outperform everybody else on the field, stand out, and it was like, man, legit, he's been shot. He got shot as it's like 17, and maybe
that's why he was drinking too.
The reason he went to Baylor is because he was on probation. He had been arrested and was on probation and couldn't leave the state, so he had to go to an in-state school, and that's why he went to Baylor in the first place.
Oh, he went to Lamar High School.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he grew up in a rough part of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
A very rough part of Houston.
Dang.
So one thing, if you go back and watch that short splash of the fan-controlled football league where they had the chair and taking snaps off of that for 2-point conversions, all that weird stuff, you would have seen Josh Gordon play. He was actually on Johnny Manziel's team for the Zappers, and Josh Gordon attributes a lot of his growth and a lot of getting his life back on the straight and narrow, a path to recovery, to Johnny Manziel, someone who has suffered through addictions and poor decision-making problems and just immaturity in general with Johnny that had him, flame out of the league so Johnny Manziel-ish. But he spoke well of Johnny Manziel. I'll put it that way. And if you have not seen them, you need to go check out a lot of Johnny Manziel's. It's almost like a media tour that he's been doing, or just the podcast network got whiff that Johnny Manziel's free to come on podcasts, and he's a really fun guy to talk to. So he just went around and did. It was like 50 podcasts.
Reach out.
I mean, hey, want to come on our show? But he did like the bigger ones. He did like the YNK podcast. He did Bussin' with the Boys, which is Taylor Lewan and Will Compton. He did what was that one? I forget the guy. Another like rap guy, where they were in his living room and these girls just walked in. Did y'all see that? So they got like these younger girls got wind that Johnny Manziel was at this house doing a recording. They just walked in the dude's house and sat down on Johnny's lap, and he was like, "Hey," and then like was like, "All right, well, I guess these are two attractive girls. Whatever, I'll go along with this." And was just playing it up. It's really weird. I'll see if I can find it later.
Don't just go along with that. Like, no, bro.
This chaos.
Yeah, no.
They were the guy that was like talking to his bodyguard. He's like, "Who are these people?" And he's like, "I don't know. I thought you knew them." Because they legit just walked in.
They just letting people walk in the house like that?
I don't know, or it was security, something like that.
That reminds me of I saw on Instagram a girl was like, everybody's cheering on this guy to take a shot, and I don't know, like I don't have no idea why. And then she pans the camera, you see Johnny Manziel, and it's like, oh,
I get it now. But yeah, I mean,
like who is this guy? Yeah, that's Johnny Manziel.
He is the party animal, or was.
When I saw Johnny Manziel on that list, I had no idea you were going to be saying that he's motivating people. I thought you were going to bring up the whole NIL thing.
No. I mean, Manziel's matured quite a bit. Like if you listen to his interviews and have listened to him talk about himself, I'm like, yeah, I messed up. I did this. I did that. There's no more blaming circumstances. There's no more, he didn't like me or they just didn't know how to coach me type of things anymore. It's not, this isn't the Manziel anymore. It's living with his mistakes and learning from them.
But I mean, a lot of his mistakes came from the fact that he was just a rich kid. He was the rich kid.
He attributes that to growing up with everything.
Yeah, who never had to take accountability for anything. And now that he's close to 30, it's like, bro, you got to get it together.
Some people don't, though.
Ryan Leaf or Tim Couch, who was the guy going around giving talks because he was such a fuck up.
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good for Manziel, one. Good, even better for Gordon because it sounds like he's actually going to be able to do what Manziel was not able to do, and that was get back into the league. So
have a sixth opportunity. Was this
six? So yeah, I have this up here. So Gordon came into the league in 2012. He played 2012 and 2013. Then in 2014, he faced his first suspension. Only played 5 games. Then was out of the league in 15 and 16. Came back in 2017. Played 5 games. Suspended again. Then that's when everyone was like, oh, he's probably going to be done. And the Patriots gave him a shot the next year. Played 12 games there. He didn't miss those 4 games because I think he actually came on the 4th game of the season or something like that. He came on after they had already broke camp. Yeah. And latched on with the Seahawks in 2019 and then was positive again or for whatever it was and missed all of 2020. So putting this into perspective, like when healthy, Josh Gordon could have been in the talks of DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas,
AJ Green.
AJ kind of fell off a while ago, but like DK Metcalf, those guys, like
that's why I'm saying him. That's why I say AJ Green. I'm knocking down a peg.
No, I mean Gordon was elite, like elite. When he was there and healthy, he easily a top 5 receiver in the league. Easily. He had the height, he had the speed, he had the hands. I mean, he was a complete wide receiver. And he blocked. Mm-hmm. It was like little Julio, honestly. But not quite as fast. But, I mean, the guy is, with his athletic ability and his understanding of the game, he's special. Like Micah said, he was able to go out drunk and dominate. Like, you don't hear that from anybody else except for these elite guys. So,
I mean, you heard that in like the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. But you don't hear drunk. Like, you hear they were high on coke or,
But, like, imagine tracking a pass while drunk.
Yeah. I don't give too much credit for that. It just makes me look at him more like, what the fuck's wrong with you, bro?
Obviously, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot wrong with him. But I'm just saying, like, it's just, like, think about being drunk and how hard it is to even walk straight.
But at the same time, being drunk gives you, like, it might uncoordinate you, but if you're not like wasted like blackout drunk, then I mean it makes you a little bit more confident, and you're a little looser as well. So
Yeah, but at the same time, like I said, it makes you less coordinated.
Catching a
So
pass.
yeah, like tracking and catching a pass
but
while
imagine being in high school and you're literally he's like the fastest dude on the field by far. So he's by himself out there.
I don't even know if he was necessarily the fastest dude on the field, but
I'm sure he was on his high school.
I mean, he was a 4.5 guy.
I'm sure that was the fastest on his squad.
Maybe not.
I don't think it's not like he was competing against NFL DBs to try
I'm gonna be honest with you, because like I know on my high school team, we had guys faster than 4.5, and we were predominantly white team.
Playing drunk in high school.
Fast? He wasn't a 4.5 guy.
Huh?
I thought.
Who?
Let's see. Josh Gordon reportedly ran a 4.52, and another report saying he ran in the 4.3s or 4.4s. So he never had an official clocking.
Yeah.
He's too drunk.
Yikes.
I'm not laughing at your pain, Josh, but I'm just saying being drunk and dominating in high school when you should dominate anyway isn't that impressive to me. I don't know.
He could have dominated even more.
Yeah, he could have had 300 yards instead of
right.
All right, so being a franchise that has a little bit of cap space and a now vacant slot across from Ridley, is this a guy that we would want to take a flyer on? Would you guys want us to invite Josh Gordon into camp and have him line up across from Ridley and see if he can give it a go for, a 1 year, $2 million deal, $3 million deal? He probably wouldn't get that much, in all honesty. Marco, why are you shaking your head no?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I don't believe in 5-time mistakes. Like, you don't get 5 chances to make mistakes. Like, I don't care what you're going
God,
through.
you're so strict, Marco.
I'm just saying, you're going to let me down again. Like, I can almost guarantee that.
You mean you're not willing to give a 6th chance? God.
Like,
What are you, a Republican?
Like, if he doesn't let me down, then I'll be surprised. Like I don't know. I feel like he's almost like a parody at this point.
Yeah.
I'll say, talent-wise, I'd love to have a player like Josh Gordon. I mean, dude is a special type of player. However, realistically, we'd never even kick the tires on him, just because, we're not the team to make that kind of move. We're super on character and these high quality guys. We would never get anybody with the questionable past. We'd never even try to bring somebody with the questionable past in. It's just,
Hey, I know a team where this guy can play. He's a real speedster. He should come out here in the desert.
I don't know if Las Vegas
Vegas
would be
is
the
not
best
the place for
place
him. Probably the worst choice.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be better off. Like, he'd be better off going to
Green Bay.
Yeah. Or
he's gonna definitely be drinking in Green Bay. How cold it is.
No, but that was high school. Drinking was high school. It was a lot worse because he Xanax,
Buffalo.
Yeah.
All that table. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I can't think of a good team. Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
nothing to do with Minnesota. Oh man.
Somewhere in the Midwest. Or whatever.
The Bears.
No, not Chicago.
Kansas City, maybe.
They could save him. If anyone can save him, Pat Mahomes can save it. Give him some ketchup.
That's such a weird commercial. You want some fries with your ketchup, Pat? Yeah, that pretty much does it though for the Grit Splits.
And I can't wait till football's back.
I know. We are a month away from camp.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much August. Well, I think it's end of this month, early August.
Little under, plus or minus 5 days of a month. I think, is where right where we're at. And then we'll have lots to talk about. That's man, the off season is almost more fun to me than the regular season. It's because there's so much to talk about and so much speculation, so much team building. And that's what I really enjoy. So, lightning round question, gentlemen. Since we are on the almost 2 weeks, when is opening ceremonies? Let me get this right. Olympic opening ceremony is July 23rd. So we're 17 days away from the opening ceremony of the Olympics, the 2021 Olympics. And, we actually had not talked about one of the biggest topics of the Olympics, but that could take us on for another 30 minutes. I don't want to get into that. Let's talk about the athletes that are competing, even though that's an unfortunate situation.
She was competing.
No, they just
took
she
off the
didn't.
team.
Yeah, they didn't ask her for the 4x1 team. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they said that because initially they said the 30 days would put her right before the relay, but they didn't ask her.
Yeah. So they didn't want to deal with all that extra media and extra attention. That
They don't want all that smoke.
I mean,
no pun intended.
They didn't want, in a time where it's all about, the mental game. You can't introduce that into a team and expect it not to affect somebody. Because all their questions are going to be, what do you think about Sha'Carri? What do you think about Sha'Carri? What do you think about Sha'Carri? Are you excited that Sha'Carri's back?
You saw what Phelps posted though? He posted his something with the US team and they had won and he was like, we were all high in this picture.
Wow, time to way to rat him out, Michael.
Right.
You rat.
he got suspended for it already.
Yeah, but his was in the off season.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. Yeah, well, let's not talk about that. That's a Pandora's box right there. So, 1, are you guys excited for the Olympics? Are you guys Olympics fans? 2, what's your favorite event to watch? If it's basketball, I guess that's okay. If it's something else, I support that even more because I like weird sports that you can't watch all the time. And who's winning the medal count? 1, 2, and 3. Feel free to take
country.
Yes. Whoever wants to take it first, they can. This is an open forum.
You want it?
Do you like it? What event? Who's winning the medal count?
I mean, growing up, I was a huge Olympic fan. I mean, my family would get together and we'd sit down and get picnic food and have a picnic in the living room watching the Olympics. These days, I mean, not so much. I'm not locked in on what's going on, but it's always fun to put on just to see what's going on. But my favorite event, probably the sprinting, just anything that has to do with the sprinting components. But then also I love diving, watching some of the diving stuff, and there's also some pretty girls on the gym teams sometimes and the diving. So those are my favorites. That was a vicious lip raise, Mike. God damn.
Gymnast girls.
No, it's not that. There's just typically half, the majority of them would be 16 or 17. It's
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but is that always the case? Simone Biles wasn't that young last year, was she? Or
the first Olympics she went to, she might have been 18.
Okay, stop making me seem creepy, guy. Damn.
All right, Trevor Bauer.
Whoa. Golly. Anyway, USA is winning the medal count.
Micah, what's your 3 answers?
I used to be, not as much anymore. Honestly, I'm more of I don't know, it's weird. I find more entertainment in watching Winter Olympics than I do the Summer Olympics now. Because curling is my jam.
Curling.
Yeah, curling, man. That's some high quality sports on the Ocho. ESPN 8, the Ocho. Um, as far as the summer though, sprinting was always an interesting one. Um, sprinting is the only event that I actually root for someone who's not an American. And I have a friend who's a hurdler for Trinidad and Tobago, and would be his last Olympics. So, I'm actually kind of rooting for him. Um, and then yeah, gymnastics is entertaining. I don't necessarily look at the women like that because, like I said, a lot of them are very young.
I said some,
But
Micah. I didn't say, oh, all the girls are so
All them little girls on the Olympic teams.
right. The ones of age,
Drink all
Micah.
this Tylenol PM wins.
Want some popsicles? Got some popsicles
When I was
in the
little,
cellar.
Dominique Moceanu and Dominique Dawes. I was younger than them.
As a teenager, Marco really enjoyed the
I was like 8, bro. I was like, how old was I in 1996? I was 6. I was literally 6.
Oh man.
Them girls
But
with the sparkly dyed pants are nice.
oh, look at that leotard. Yeah. So, but yeah, like, yeah, I do like some of those events though, because like Simone Biles is a absolute monster, and the fact that they penalized her because she physically can do something that only the men can do, it lets you know how incredible that she is. It's like, yo, women aren't supposed to be strong enough to do that, and she can, so they
You think she takes
penalized her
steroids?
for it. No, I just think she
You
just
take that back, Marco.
she's just
I asked a question.
no, I just think like she's a genetic freak, and I mean, honestly, if you look at the way she's built compared to a lot of the other gymnasts, like, bruh, she's built like a sprinter. Like her legs are bigger. She's just stronger. She looks bigger. Like she's small. She's still small in stature, but like physically, she just looks like stronger than all the other girls naturally. And as far as the country that'll win the most, I think the U.S. will win the medal count.
Yeah. I am a huge fan of the Olympics. I love them still to this day. Something about getting behind amateur athletes that are representing their country, taking politics and removing it completely from the equation here. It's nice to get out there and support these people that have literally trained their whole lives to do this and have ascended to the top of their games, because these are not sports that, other than basketball, and I think there's baseball now too, right?
Soccer as well.
Soccer, yeah. So, I mean, other than that, most of these people are career athletes, but they're not professionals in the sense that, Kobe Bryant was, Dwayne Wade was, all the guys that are going out there from the NBA this year. They don't get paid like that. They make their money off of sponsorships, and then they train and they train and they train and they train and they train. And they typically have came up that way. They were a sponsored athlete their whole life, but they were never rich. They just were given what they needed to train and train hard and train all the time. So that's what I like to see. I like to see these people get out there and just really give it their all. And, there's that fraternity, that not so much fraternity because it's not just men, but that special club of Olympians, that you're like, I went out there and I competed against the world, like the actual world in my sport, and I won. And that's what I absolutely love. That's just so cool to watch. It's so fun to watch, and to root for your country, your team. Like, I remember when I can't remember his name. There was Lochte. When Lochte and Phelps were out there, and they were just killing it, and you were like, yeah! Those finishes were like that close, and you had I always forget her name, the girl on the swimming team. Anyway, when the women were doing really well too, like I've never watched swimming outside of the Olympics. Like, I don't. What if I see on TV? I'm like, next.
Right.
But man, like Olympic swimming, I'm
I'm-
just like.
I've never seen it on TV outside of the Olympics though.
Well, you see a lot of like in the off seasons, you see a lot of like the SEC meets and things like that.
Oh,
If you watch SEC now or like Fox sometimes has it on.
That's true.
But
You talking about Katie Ledecky?
not her. She was the white girl, the black girl.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember her name. She made it again this year. But yeah, like I just love that. I've never watched those sports, but watching them for the Olympics, I get pumped up. It's kind of like the World Cup with me too. I really like world competition, where it's country versus country.
What's really cool about the Olympics too is that like you said, most of these athletes are broke. If you're not like the gold medalist, you're probably broke.
Yeah.
So when they win, it's like you get that kind of feeling, like that heart feeling.
Everybody roots for the underdog.
Right, like let's go, like because when they're winning, it's like you really see the passion, and then when they lose, you see the disappointment, and it's so it hurts. Like you want these guys to win, and also like whatever the media bigs up at the time is always interesting to watch because there's always some event where the media pours all the attention into it, and that's always fun.
I mean, like imagine being Tyson Gay, man, like being that fast and like constantly just coming up second and third. Because Usain Bolt's there. I mean, Tyson Gay is so fast. So fast.
Justin Gatlin.
Yeah, Gatlin. Oh, my God.
No, but here's the crazy thing. He physically, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking? Not physically, but
genetically.
No. It's just in sheer physics. The sheer physics behind Usain Bolt and how crazy it's
mechanics.
Yeah, mechanics.
Bro, it's like majority of sprinters are under 6 feet tall. They're short. They don't have very long legs. They get their which allows their feet to turn over faster, and they can. But Usain Bolt was 6'5" with long legs, and his feet could move just as fast as theirs, but his stride was much bigger than all of theirs. So it's like, yo, how is that possible that a man who's that tall with that long of legs his feet could move that fast? And it's just like,
is he retired now or is he still at it?
He's technically retired because I think he's older than I think he's like 35 or 30.
Right, because I think he's been the last 3.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So
he could probably still place.
Right, but you want to go out on top. There's no point in coming if you're not going to win.
Right.
I still think he could win if he ran this year. He probably could still win, but yeah, it's just would he break?
Usain Bolt to run 800-meter event, but
he's
still retired. That's right. The now retired world's fastest man is not only changing diapers these days, but also distances as he makes a brief comeback for. Oh, it was just a promo race.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, this was today. What? Sort of. When I go to the track and start training, then I don't miss it that much. Cracked the 34-year-old Bolt, who's nearly 13-year reign as Olympic champion in the 100-meter and 200-meter, will come to an end at the Tokyo Games. So yeah, he's not in the Olympics at all. Okay.
And they say the Olympics is like a big orgy. They say like all the athletes they like give them condoms, like unlimited condom supplies, because all the athletes just go around and fuck each other.
I mean, it's like going back to college, but like you're surrounded by alpha people.
Right.
Like we're all the best at what we do. We're all pretty decently attractive too. And look at us. I've got the 6-pack. You've got a 6-pack. We've all got 6-packs, and we've got nothing but time.
I forget if it was like a joke or if they were like serious, but I forget. They said like some sports don't have a lot of sex. I forget which.
No.
I remember this was a story.
Badminton.
Yeah, I forget which sports it was, but they were like It was like the percentages. Like I don't know how they got these statistics.
The archery.
Yeah, right. But they were like the swimmers get all the ass, and they're
Bruh. Nah, imagine. Nah, I just thought about a concept though. Imagine being by far the fastest person in your country, and then you get into the Olympics and you get beat by like a whole second in like the 100-meter run.
Hey man. That's just reality. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy when it's a person from somewhere as small as Jamaica, but like America always does that to people. It's like,
wow,
they're the best in their country, and we just.
All right, here we go. The Olympic Village has provided athletes with condoms since the 1988 games, which lines up with the advocacy to work around safer sex practices. Blah 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 blah. In Rio, there was added concern about the Zika virus, which is sexually transmitted. So they passed out 450,000 condoms.
Oh, God.
That included 100,000 female condoms, but paled in comparison to the 9 million condoms distributed throughout the city of Rio. The entire thing.
I can understand why.
So this was a 2018 article. It said this year 110,000 condoms will be handed out to the 2,900 athletes.
Golly.
So let's see. That's the math. 110 divided by 3. That's under 4. That's 3.5 a person, roughly. Yeah. Almost 4 a person for this at that rate.
and to think about the sports like I said, archery, equestrian. Like,
right,
yeah,
right,
we'll need to pass you up.
40. Some sports are doubling up.
40 a person is what that is. Yeah.
Right. So
you get 40 condoms. Good Lord.
The gymnasts and the swimmers need like triple the amount of the archers.
I've got really good aim though. Shut up, nerd. Archery nerd. Olympic nerd. That should be the name of this episode. Olympic nerd.
Olympic nerd. And then are the NBA players partaking in this, or do they bring their own condoms? Like,
knowing them, they probably don't even practice safe. Some of them. God.
Oh,
I know KD out here bringing smash buddies to his dates. So.
No, it was Harden, right? Isn't that what we determined? It couldn't be KD.
No, it was KD.
It was definitely KD. Yeah.
It was definitely KD.
I thought she said it was a Virgo.
No, it was Libra. Remember that?
Libra, you're right. That's right.
Yeah, it was definitely KD.
He was wrong in his video.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
then he corrected himself in the comment.
And but I mean, I guess he figured he's going out with the P star. So, are you not putting out? All right, well, I'm gonna get somebody that can.
He gonna shoot a shot at
you
some
can put out with both.
What's the one who's in the commercial who flips on the roof and grabs the bag of chips or whatever? I bet KD shoots his shot at her.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, Michaela Maroney?
Yeah, Michaela Maroney.
She's the one that with the smirk.
Yeah, with the weird smirk. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it pretty much does it for this episode. Y'all got anything to say before we get out of here? That was a long one. That was almost.
I love sports. Go America.
Go America. Oh yeah, my answer is I love all the events. Well, no, let me not do that. Let me not cop out. Swimming, both sprinting events, the swimming sprints and the track and field sprints, and America wins it by 20 medals. So, yeah, that does it for us. We are Fish and Grits. We will be back next week around Tuesday. Hopefully, Conti will be able to make that date. Also, for those of you that stuck around, we will be on the 20th of this month. We will have Josh Brooks on, who is the UGA Athletic Director. Send us your questions on Instagram. I guess you can tweet us as well. But preferably on Instagram, we will pull all those together and get a section for fan-submitted questions and ask him that. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
And if you like Fish and Grits and all that sports shit, everybody, let me hear you say, oh, yay.
Oh, yay.